Chapter 2085. Originally, it was a one-sided battle, but the sudden appearance of a team intensified the changes in the battle and changed the entire situation. This team, which did not even have a god king, was extraordinarily brave. They killed their way out of the Azura tribe's encirclement. The Azura tribe did not have any stage fright when fighting one-on-one. They even had the advantage. How is this possible? The Azura tribe is invincible in the same realm. Even the first-rate prodigies of the dragon tribe can only be on par with them in the same realm. Which force is so powerful? Oh my, did I see a ghost in broad daylight? They have the upper hand when fighting one-on-one? It's fine if it's just one person, but the entire team is at this level? What kind of divine being is this team? The addition of the 5 teams instantly stabilized the situation. The powerful beings of the various races recovered from the Azura tribe's ferocious attack. They were all dumbfounded and shocked. The 12 Azura kings, who were surrounding the buyers of the various races, had grave expressions when they noticed the change. What team is this? They actually dared to attack the Azura tribe. Humans? Could they be from the 9-World Mountain? The situation has changed. Let's end this quickly. This human team gives me a feeling of déjà vu. Gray-white battle aura soared into the sky like a dancing dragon. Battle aura was also known as the power of the battle god. It was a power that the Azura tribe cultivated that surpassed the other major races. The powerful Azura tribe could cultivate the power of the battle god into different forms of battle divine power. The 12 Azura kings used their various abilities. Some had 3 heads and 6 arms, some had no heads but eyes. When their divine eyes opened, there was an energy storm that could devour the stars. Some were armed with divine weapons like sabers, spears, swords, halberds, staffs, and hammers. The kings of the various races had grave expressions. As expected of the battle god, the Azura tribe was far more powerful than other god kings of the same realm. Not to mention the fact that the other party outnumbered them by double. Boom! An Azura king swung his divine hammer, causing a sonic boom to wreak havoc. The spiritual chi below the divine hammer exploded like molten lava, striking a dragon king of the dragon race. He was forced to revert to his original form, and he raised his dragon claws to meet the attack head-on. Phoenix wings covered the sky, and feathers filled the sky. The divine phoenix king of the fire phoenix race flapped her wings, raising a phoenix flame storm that could burn mountains and rivers. She wanted to hold back the 2 Azura kings, but she was torn apart by the blue-eyed Azura king. The blue-eyed Azura chuckled. You want to leave today without paying a price? I'm afraid it won't be that simple. You want to fight 2-on-1? Not so simple. The divine phoenix roared angrily, Damned Azura tribe, this king will fight it out with you today. The divine phoenix seemed to be cutting off all means of retreat, but in fact it had already decided to retreat. At most, it would just grit its teeth and throw away the treasures it had won from the auction. Then, it would take the opportunity to escape. Bang! 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 Like the sun and moon colliding with the sky, 18 God King level experts started a great battle. The entire 9 Dragons city shook violently. The earth's crust cracked, and the clouds in the sky were torn apart. When the light dimmed, even the nearby stars seemed to lose their color. It was as if a shocking battle was taking place in a vast nebula. The news spread out from 9 Dragons City, shaking the entire area. The God Kings are in a chaotic battle. Now is the time. The black and white divine light around Zhao Anren flickered, and the laws of yin and yang revolved like acupuncture points. When it bound an Azura tribe member, Zhao Anren struck out with a palm. Bang! The city gate was blasted open, and the barrier between the inner and outer world was unable to bear the pressure. Finally, a hole was opened. The 10-odd Azura tribe members sneered, Lowly human race. Do you think you can escape by opening a hole? Do you want to break your brains? No. Zhao Anren smiled, bright and cold. Escape? Our target is your Azura tribe. Bang! bang, bang. Thousands of divine lights flew in from outside the city. A terrifying aura rushed in from the outside, as if it was going to collapse the world. There are 20,000 Azura tribe members. Everyone, let's show these bastards our strength. Be it the God race or the Azura tribe. Today, we only ask for a battle, not to leave alive. We dare to fight the God race, and so do the Azura tribe. One-on-one, we have the advantage. With a wild song, we dare to make the Azura tribe members tremble in fear. Thousands of true gods rushed into Nine Dragons City at an extremely fast speed. The 10-odd Azura tribe members turned pale with fright. Qi. Xunlingshuang's fists were like dragons that swallowed up the entire sky. Xunlingshuang blew up a few Azura tribe members with a single punch. Carrying the red flag on her shoulder, she met up with the rest of Team 2 and dashed towards the center of the Azura tribe at the fastest speed possible. Since Master won't let me fight with the Azura tribe's god kings for now, I'll capture a few of their leaders. A smile appeared on Xunlingshuang's fair and handsome face. Her team was like a sharp divine spear, piercing into the enemy's high-ranking battle circle. And there were the Azura tribe leaders who had collected all the treasures from the Nine Dragons City auction. They were a group of generals second only to the Azura tribe's god kings. Their numbers are increasing. Azura King Guiyu, who had just repelled a dragon king with a giant fist, suddenly turned his head, his expression grave. He had 4 arms and 6 eyes. Each of his eyes was like a dark whirlpool that could see through the void within a radius of 10,000 feet. Ghost King Guiyu's pupils constricted. In a distant battle circle, a wisp of divine wind broke through the battle circle and sent the Azura tribe members flying. Ghost King Guiyu was stunned. What's that? When the 6 god eyes focused their attention, the range and precision of their senses increased by several levels. What a godly fist! With the support of divine wind, lightning and fire, it's as fast as teleportation. It's impossible to guard against. It's so fast that it seems like it's about to reach me. Bang! The fist wrapped in divine wind arrived in an instant. Ghost King Guiyu was sent flying, and all 6 of his eyes popped out. Blood splattered everywhere. Ghost King Guiyu instinctively released his battle god Qi to protect himself. He cursed angrily. Who the F***ck hit my eyes? I hate it when people hit my eyes. Despicable bastard. Then I'll change my method. The young man's mocking voice stunned Ghost King Guiyu. Qi. The divine wind turned into a blade and pierced through Ghost King Guiyu's defense at an extremely fast speed. The greaves stepped on Ghost King Guiyu's 6 eyeballs, causing blood to flow out of his face. Ghost King Guiyu was stomped into the ground of Nine Dragons City, causing the ground to tremble. Ghost King Guiyu's eyes widened. He could only vaguely sense a young man in a silver robe flapping his green divine wings. Then, the young man in the silver robe punched at Ghost King Guiyu's chest. Bang! 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 It was as if thousands of god kings were attacking him at the same time. Ghost King Guiyu had to use all his strength just to defend himself. In a breath's time, he had suffered countless attacks. A thought came to his mind. Ever since he became a god king, he had suffered all the attacks he had not suffered. Roar! I'm going to kill you! Black blood flames were ignited. Ghost King Guiyu's divine arm expanded and swung upward aggressively, crushing everything within a radius of 10,000 feet. Unexpectedly, the young man was ridiculously fast. Wind Shadow Vambrace reached out and grabbed Ghost King Guiyu's divine arm. Then, he swung it toward the sky. Ghost King Guiyu felt the world spinning around him. He was thrown out of the ground like a cannonball. When he came to his senses, he was thrown into the sky again. He threw Ghost King Guiyu with his left hand, and his right hand was filled with stars. 9 colored starlight spun in his palm. Lin Chun swung it toward the sky. Ghost King Guiyu? Why did you burn your Azura blood? Seeing Ghost King Guiyu's battered and bloodied body, the Azura kings were shocked. Ghost King Guayu was so angry that he vomited blood. How the F***ck would I know? I don't know where this lunatic came from. I was punched 10,000 times when I came to my senses. Whoosh! 5 9-colored starlight streaked across the sky and pierced through the clouds in an instant. Exuding a destructive aura, they shot toward the Azura kings at a speed that they could not evade. 5 9-colored pillars of light that connected the heavens and the earth suddenly bloomed and rotated at an extreme speed. The 9-colored light pillars contained the laws of stars, lightning, and divine fire. In the most violent form of energy, they released divine light that could crush everything in the world. They enveloped the 4 Azura kings led by Ghost King Guayu. A hurricane swept up, and a huge dragon king quickly retreated. He stared at the 5 light pillars with cold sweat dripping down his back. If he was sucked into it, even the dragon race with their strong vitality would not be able to withstand it. The Dragon King suddenly turned around and looked at the green-armored figure that emerged from the ground. He said with a trembling voice, Big Boss, how did you do that?" The divine persona fragment spun rapidly, continuously injecting new divine power into it. Lin Chun clapped his hands and smiled. Nothing but familiarity. Chapter 2086. Where did this team come from? That young man in the lead is so fierce that he's not inferior to the Azura Kings? The 9 Dragon City Lord stepped onto the starship and watched from the sidelines. He was still shocked by Lin Chen's combat strength. It seemed that he was only at Stage 5 of the Divine Realm. Stage 5 of the Divine Realm against the Azura Kings? How could there be such a monster in the human race? Also, the people in that team are all ruthless. Even though they're at the same cultivation level, they're actually evenly matched with the Azura tribe. If it weren't for the fact that they're wearing ordinary clothes and using low-grade divine artifacts, I would have thought that they're from the God Realm. The 9 Dragon City Lord didn't expect that. He thought that he had let in a pack of hungry wolves, but it was a pack of fierce tigers. The gathering of fierce tigers really made one's scalp tingle. The 9 Dragon City Lord shook his head and retreated to the side. Forget it. I won't be the fisherman. If I wait any longer, I'm afraid something will happen to me. The City Lord ran away. New divine power was constantly injected into the Tai space. Lin Chun sighed. It's great to have so many Azura Kings. I can use the divine spark fragments at full power, and I don't have to hold back with the 9 tribulation stars. The Yellow Spring Dark Dragon King almost cursed out loud when he heard this. What did he mean by it was great to have so many Azura Kings? Was that something a human would say? Damn it, the insect race will remember this debt from the Azura tribe. The next time we meet, we'll wipe you out with an army. Seeing the change in the situation, the Divine King experts of the various races immediately threw away the items they had obtained from the auction to distract the Azura King. After leaving behind some harsh words, they quickly rushed towards the gap that Zhao Anren had opened up. When the 5 9-colored light pillars slowly dissipated, the battle god's power broke through the sky, and 4 Azura Kings appeared in the air. All the Azura Kings were injured, and there was still shock in their eyes. Among them, the Ghost King was the most miserable. Its divine arm was cracked, and its divine body was badly mutilated. There wasn't a single piece of skin on its body that was intact. It was on the verge of death and was hanging on to its last breath. A blue-eyed Azura shouted angrily, "You old ghost, I told you not to underestimate the enemy. F***ck your mother's leg." The king of the underworld spat out blood as he cursed. The speed of this human is not something that an ordinary god king can defend against. Don't underestimate this prince, I'm very good at fighting. Shwa, shwa, shwa. Pitch-black battle chi surged as the 8 Ashura clan members stepped forward and surrounded Lin Chun. The red-haired, blood-eyed Azura questioned, "I don't kill nameless people." "Tell me your name, human expert." Evidently, after the previous 9 tribulation star move, All the Azura kings had acknowledged Lin Chen. The godly wind howled. The wind that filled the sky was like the roar of an angry beast. Lin Chen stepped on the godly wind tornado that spun like a millstone. His casual movements revealed a domineering aura that was not weaker than a king-level warrior's as he faced the Azura kings. Human Lin Chen. Today, I'll take everything in Nine Dragons City. Lin Chen smiled. Including the lives of the Azura kings. The blue-eyed female Azura's lips twitched. What a good move! The blood-haired Azura said coldly. I'm looking forward to your strength. Otherwise, it'll be too boring. Bang! The blood-haired Azura extended his 3 heads and 6 arms. He held 6 rank 9 weapons in his hands and slashed at Chen Xiaobei. The 6 weapons created a whirlwind that covered the stars. The blue-eyed Azura clasped his hands together, and a sky full of battle-chi demonic snakes appeared, like an endless tide of snakes rushing towards Lin Chen. Besides the 4 Azura kings who were suppressing the warriors of the other clans, the other 8 Azura kings were the strongest warriors. The blood-haired Azura and the blue-eyed Azura were at the second sky of King God Realm. Lin Chen was not worried at all. His doppelgangers were hiding in the dark to collect attribute. If the 4 Azura kings wanted to make a move, they would have to go through his doppelgangers first. Unexpectedly, a dazzling 9-colored starlight appeared, and the 9 tribulation star with a destructive aura appeared on Lin Chen's palm again. What? A terrifying attack that involves the origin of laws and divine power, and he can use it again so quickly? The Azura kings were shocked. Speed of all attributes increased to 4,000 times. Minimum energy consumption. If the host increases it further, the energy consumption will double. Lin Chen raised his hand and the 9 tribulations star cut through the night sky. It was so fast that the 9-colored light tore apart the attacks of the Azura kings. Boom. Boom. The space trembled, and 9 Dragons City was on the verge of collapse. Everything in the world seemed to be sucked away by the 5-colored light pillars. The violent divine power annihilated everything, including the Azura kings. Let's end this quickly. Kill as many as you can. With a flash of divine wind, the wings of wind flapped rapidly. Lin Chen's figure was so fast that it was as if he was teleporting. If not for the enhancement of the Azura's Bane, Lin Chen would not have dared to use the 9 tribulation star. Although the extreme wind god set consumed a lot of energy, the recovery rate of the Azura divine fragment was also terrifying. Only when the two were used together could Lin Chen's extreme wind god set be considered to be at full strength. The extreme wind god set was the most suitable for this kind of group battle. It could help Lin Chen avoid a large number of attacks. The Azura tribe was the god of war. Even with the sky-raising godly set, Lin Chen could not block the attacks of so many Azura kings. When the 9 tribulations star delayed the Azura kings, the Ghost King retreated rapidly. It could not fight anymore. If it did not retreat, it would be in danger of dying if it encountered an ordinary god king. The divine flame was like a dragon, and it instantly bombarded the retreating Ghost King. The Ghost Underworld King spat out another mouthful of blood as Lin Chen grabbed its head. Lin Chen smiled and said, "Didn't you say that you are good at fighting?" The Ghost King roared, "I will fight it out with you, rip!" A golden divine light flashed, and the divine spear pierced through the Ghost King's body. It stared at Lin Chen in disbelief. The latter had unknowingly changed into a golden armor, and his pure strength was hundreds of millions of desolate power. He could fight against a god king without any pressure. How can there be such a human? The Ghost King was filled with unwillingness before it died. It dropped a large number of colorful attribute light balls, and 2 floating attribute treasure chests. Rumble! The boundless battle god's power was like a ghostly aura, and it transformed into thousands of ghosts that covered the stars and moon. It created an intense battle chi storm, alarming countless experts and Azura tribe members. The Supreme Ghost King has fallen? Is it the leader of that team, the human? Our king died in the hands of a human? The Azura tribe's team was in chaos, and the god kings who had not retreated were all shocked. How long had it been since the battle started, and this kid had already killed an Azura king? Another ruthless person had appeared in the divine wilderness star region. Lin Chen channeled his mental cultivation technique and absorbed all the attribute light balls. Host has received 50 billion divine essence, 89. 2 billion divine blood points, 2. 18 million heavens path points, 1. 9 billion divine talent points. A host has opened the set attribute treasure chest. Obtained, Atlas God set, right Greaves. Host has opened the rare attribute treasure chest. Obtained, 10 million high-grade set essence. You did not disappoint me, Azura King. Looking at the newly obtained set, Lin Chen smiled. Bang! The 5 9-colored light pillars were torn apart, and the 7 Azura Kings' faces turned ugly. The fall of the Ghost King was definitely a huge loss to them. The blue-eyed Azura said coldly, "Stop all plans, and concentrate all our forces to deal with this human." Just as he finished speaking, the divine wind blew again. The nebula in the sky above Nine Dragons City revolved, and above the clouds, a green divine light that resembled a crescent moon turned into a divine bow. The bowstring was like the wind, stirring up the clouds and shattering the heavens and earth. Charging complete. The Extreme Wind God set has reached 35% charge. Host has activated the secondary equipment, Extreme Wind God Bow, second form. Obtained specialty, Absolute Hit. The Extreme Wind God Bow that was as bright as a rainbow emitted a green light, and the bow suddenly spread out 4 pairs of divine wings. The divine light exploded, and a fist-sized divine wind appeared on the bowstring. With the divine bow in his hand, Lin Chen flapped his divine wings, creating a fierce divine wind. Lin Chen smiled. If I don't shoot you to your heart's content today, consider it my, Lin Chen's, loss. Chapter 2087. The ultimate wind god bow unfurled its 4 wings, and the body of the bow was like a swimming dragon. Lin Chen held the bow in his hand as if he was holding the whole world. The second form of the wind god bow. Special feature, Absolute Hit. Every arrow and every move shot by the host with the divine bow will have the characteristic of absolute hit. The host can track the enemy across the void, transcend dimensions, and traverse the 4-dimensional universe without stopping until the host dies, until the divine power of the arrow is exhausted. Today, let's see what kind of absolute hit is this. Lin Chen laughed and pulled the bowstring. Divine wind rose, and the divine arrow disappeared as soon as it was formed. The Azura King's expressions changed drastically. It was too fast, and they couldn't even see the trajectory of the arrow. The blood-haired Azura stepped forward and swung his divine saber, slashing out a blood-colored saber projection, which sucked away the energy of heaven and earth, and went straight to the center of heaven and earth. When the blood-colored saber projection slashed out, it was like a spinning vortex, exploding with a bang. The divine wind energy of the divine arrow spilled out in all directions. The blood-haired Azura said, "It's not that difficult. If we work together, we should be able to..." Boom! 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 The divine wind roared furiously, and heaven and earth exploded. Countless arrow shadows suddenly burst forth from Lin Chen's direction. His arm that was holding the bow seemed to dance with countless afterimages, and the speed was terrifying. The experts far away from Nine Dragons City instantly felt hundreds of divine arrows break through the nebula and crush all the enchantments of Nine Dragons City. Thousands of divine swords rushed out of the universe, carrying an indomitable aura, sweeping through the starry sky and shooting toward the Azura Kings in untraceable trajectories. The Azura Kings sucked in cold breaths, and their legs almost gave out. Is this King difficult to deal with? Retreat. The vast divine arrow light pierced through the surging Azura battle aura. Divine flames that could burn heaven and earth lingered around the divine arrow. Lightning and fire intertwined, and starlight flashed. The divine arrow exploded, and the sharp divine wind cut through the bodies of the Azura kings. Bang! 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 The kings of the Azura tribe were forced to retreat continuously. The blue-eyed Azura summoned a gigantic Azura palm that covered the sky, but it was pierced through in the blink of an eye. The eight-armed Azura king ignited his divine blood and unleashed the power of the battle god to form a divine arm that reached the heavens. The 1,000-zhang-long divine arm smashed down, causing the starlight to dim and ripples to appear in the space. It caused the air to explode repeatedly, but it couldn't withstand Lin Chen's 3 arrows and instantly exploded. The godly fiendish storm shrouded the god's body like a haze. The four-eyed Azura took a step forward, and blood light rose under his feet. Just when he thought he had escaped, his 4 eyes rolled up like a cross as he witnessed an unbelievable scene. The divine arrow that was tearing through the clouds continued to change direction and shoot in the opposite direction after it used its ability to evade. What the F***ck is this in broad daylight? It's as if he's adjusting the trajectory of his pants and pulling a few balls. The four-eyed Azura cursed. The battle god's power transformed into a halberd, and the four-eyed Azura was forced to use the halberd to fight back. The halberd continuously slashed through the divine arrow, and the divine wind that was stirred up caused him to flip over. Following that, several divine arrows pierced through his divine body. As he spat out blood, the four-eyed Azura was so sullen that he was about to go crazy. Ridiculous, this was too King ridiculous. The Azura kings had fought in all directions, they had seen all kinds of grand scenes, seen all kinds of strange moves, and encountered all kinds of complicated natural laws. They had even seen quite a number of great Tao laws that were ranked in the top 100 of the human race. The only thing they had never seen was this kind of attack that had a tracking effect. That was too ridiculous. It was fine if it was tracking, but the problem was that the speed was so ridiculously fast that it was far from enough to deal with or defend against it. There was no time to react. Unless one had battle prowess close to that of a peak divine king and could absolutely defend against all of his attacks, they would be worn down to death sooner or later. The other 4 kings of the Azura tribe couldn't care too much. When they wanted to give chase and provide support, they were intercepted by 4 figures. Doppelgangers. How is that possible? At our level, the doppelgangers have to pay a huge price to have the strength of the main body. This human actually has 4 doppelgangers of such strength? The 4 kings palpitated as they realized more and more that they had gotten themselves into trouble. Host used Wind God Bow, Phantom Wind God Arrow. Host used Wind God Bow, Phantom Wind God Arrow. The Wind God wings flapped and green light shone. Lin Chen was like a god that had descended to the mortal world. He turned into a streak of light and moved back and forth in the sky, shooting arrows continuously. He actually beat up the kings of the Azura tribe until they couldn't even raise their heads. If it was an ordinary battle against a divine king, Lin Chen definitely wouldn't dare to play so big. The more he used the Wind God Bow, not to mention charging it, the more terrifying his divine power would be. Lin Chen, who was only at the 5th stage of the divine realm, couldn't afford to squander it. His cultivation realm was still his shortcoming. However, it was different with the Azura's Bane divinity. As long as the Azura tribe was strong enough, the energy provided by the Azura tribe's Bane divinity would be inexhaustible. Facing the arrows, the green-haired, green-eyed female Azura completely lost her previous calm and seductive demeanor. What was left was only panic and fear. It was unknown which king of the Azura tribe had his divine body pierced by dozens of divine arrows while resisting. He screamed miserably, "Damn it, he's too good at shooting." When the experts of various races in Nine Dragons City saw this scene of them being suppressed by firepower, the morale of the 5 teams soared. Did you see that? This is the strength of our Captain Lin Chen. Azura tribe, crawl. Come on, I also want to fight 1 against 7. I'll bring together the best of you." The team's aggressive, killing intent shook the heavens and the earth. Some of the Azura tribe's members were so frightened that they kept retreating. For the first time, fear and trepidation appeared in their eyes. When the experts of the Dragon tribe and the Phoenix tribe witnessed this scene, it was as if they had seen a ghost in broad daylight. The Azura tribe, known as the God of Battle, actually had a day when they were afraid. Different, this team was really different. The experts of various races had never seen such a team from the human race. Even the powerful God tribe of the past did not have such tenacity. They had seen ruthless people who were not afraid of death, but this was the first time they had seen such a team with such high fighting spirit, unity, and flexibility. Whoosh! Lin Chen, who had almost exhausted 90% of the divine power in Tai space, shot the last arrow. The consumption of divine power was especially terrifying. When the rain of arrows finally stopped, the figures of the 7 Azura kings floating in the air were on the verge of collapse. Their divine bodies were full of wounds, and the Azuras under their command were shocked. They had never seen the kings injured to such a degree. Even the battle with the 9 great dragon kings of the Dragon tribe had not been to this extent. The blood-haired Azura sneered and said, "After shooting for so long, your divine power must be exhausted. It's our turn now, right?" Lin Chen grinned and said, "It's okay. I like to prepare more sets. If one set is not enough, I'll use 2. If I run out of divine power, I'll use pure strength." Dazzling divine light appeared out of nowhere, illuminating the 4-dimensional universe. The golden god of battle, bathed in golden light, stepped out with his spear. Lin Chen's pure strength increased dramatically. With the help of the Azura divine spark, billions of desolate power surged. Bang! The god of battle stomped his foot, stepped into the sky, and threw his spear. With a sonic boom, the god of battle's spear turned into a golden flash and disappeared. A spear was also used for shooting. At that moment, the Azura kings, who had fought all over the divine wilderness star field, felt a long-lost emotion in their hearts. That was regret. Regret not running away just now. Chapter 2088. Boom! The war god's spear pierced through the sky like a golden flash. It pierced through the blood-haired Azura's battle energy blade, shattering its divine body. The blood-haired Azura's strength was equivalent to a second-tier king god. If it was at its peak, it would not be afraid of this spear. However, it had already been shot by hundreds of divine arrows. It was too late to retreat now that it was severely injured. The blood-haired Azura's face was ferocious. "This brat's divine spear is different from ordinary divine weapons. Be careful." A shining golden divine fist smashed into the blood-haired Azura's face and sent it flying. Lin Chen's every step was shining with golden light. Azura poison tide. The blue-eyed female Azura opened her mouth and released ancient poisonous snake. They turned into a poisonous tide that covered the sky. She shouted coldly, "Give me the rest of your battle energy." The 6 Azura kings sent out their remaining battle energy as if they were telepathic. The dragon-like power of the war god gathered in the sky and entered the blue-eyed Azura's body. The Azura poison tide's power increased once again, blocking Lin Chen's path forward. Even the protective set's characteristic war god's golden light was visibly weakening. Lin Chen retreated 1,000 feet. With a wave of his hand, the war god's spear returned to his hand. He swung the spear and swept away the poisonous tide. The golden war god's spear spun like a whirlwind. However, the poisonous fog seemed to grow and spread again. A large amount of poisonous tide surged. Some of the nearby experts accidentally touched it and were instantly corroded to the point that not even their bones were left. This poison was extremely terrifying. It was comparable to the 3,000 great Daos of the human race and was not inferior to the laws of the god attainment. Now, retreat. Seeing that they had stopped Lin Chen, the 7 Azura kings immediately used the last bit of their war god power. Their battle energy spread across the sky. Streaks of azure divine light flashed across the distorted spacetime and started to run in 2 different directions. The 7 Azura kings escaped from 9 Dragons City. King and the others are running away. This king and the others don't care about us anymore? The Azura kings were dumbfounded. The mystical dragons of the dragon tribe were dumbfounded. This was the first time they had seen the Azura king flee. The other 4 Azura kings saw that the situation was not good. After repelling Lin Chen's illusion doppelganger, they immediately escaped, not even caring about their subordinate. The Azura tribe had actually taken the initiative to flee? This was a King rare historical moment that was even rarer than a volcano. Lin Chen's 4 doppelgangers didn't chase after the Azura king. Instead, they chased in another direction. The injured Azura king was much easier to fight than the other 4 Azura kings in perfect condition. Boom! At this moment, the pitch-black divine light traveled thousands of miles. It flashed through the void and flew straight in one direction. The blood-haired Azura exclaimed in shock. He actually passed through the toxic Azura mist we created together? Lin Chen spread out his arms as he put on the 4-piece heaven-raising divine armor set. The heaven-raising divine light of absolute defense was removed and he switched to the divine wind set. All attribute speed increase. 2,000 times, 3,000 times. The divine wind wings flapped and Lin Chen's speed increased exponentially. A golden-eyed Azura that was fleeing with the blood-haired Azura gritted his teeth. Sorry, big brother. With that, he sent the blood-haired Azura flying with a palm strike. He then flew in the opposite direction. The blood-haired Azura roared, King Hell! What a good brother! A friend in need was a friend indeed. Unexpectedly, just as the blood-haired Azura thought that he was going to die, Lin Chen sent a palm strike over. The god-summoning barrier activated and imprisoned the blood-haired Azura. Then, he turned to chase after the golden-eyed Azura. The latter was completely dumbfounded. Good lord, this kid wants to do it all. He wants to kill all the Azura kings? I'll fight you to the death. The golden-eyed Azura knew that he couldn't win against Lin Chen in terms of speed. He burned his god blood and counterattacked Lin Chen, wanting to self-destruct. Lin Chen activated the god-summoning barrier again and restrained his movements to prevent him from self-destructing. Then, he used the divine wind bow and shot an arrow through the golden-eyed Azura. Bang! The golden-eyed Azura exploded, dropping a huge number of attribute light balls and an attribute treasure chest. Lin Chen drew his bow, and his arms shot out like afterimages. Peerless divine arrows with the absolute hit characteristic shot out one after another, intercepting many Azura kings. Kill as many as you can. So what if they're Azura kings? I'll fight them sooner or later. Why don't I collect some interest now? Lin Chen's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. He stepped forward, and the god of war flashed with golden light. Lin Chen switched to the golden god of war set again, and sent the blood-haired Azura's head flying. With a spin of the god of war spear, desolate power erupted. Lin Chen threw the god of war spear out and pierced through another Azura king. It spat out blood and shattered bones. Before it died, it let out a roar and turned into attribute light balls. He threw the spear with one hand and struck the god's summoning barrier with the other, activating it again. Lin Chen strode forward, punching and punching. His punches caused strong winds and sonic booms to resound in the sky. He punched another Azura king to death. When one of the Azura kings saw that the situation was hopeless, he turned around and dashed towards Lin Chen. He actually locked onto Lin Chen and ignited his divine blood. He actually wanted to drag Lin Chen along with him to self-destruct? Consumed 32 million heavenly Tao points, activating the god-summoning godhead. Lin Chen used himself as the center and activated the god-summoning godhead. When the god-summoning barrier was activated, the opponent's movement was restricted, but he immediately broke free. At the same time, he switched to the extreme wind god set and teleported away. Boom. An Azura King's self-destruction was terrifying. Even a third-layer God King realm expert wouldn't dare to underestimate it. A large area outside the Nine Dragon City was vaporized. Lin Chen stepped into the air and frowned, as expected of the Azura King realm. How ruthless. I was almost killed by him. How crazy. If Lin Chen didn't dodge the self-destruction at such a close distance, he might have died. The self-destruction of the Azura King realm's battle god power was different from that of a normal god king. Although Lin Chen was strong, he was only 5th-layer divine realm. Even with the sky raising divine armor, he couldn't take it head-on. Looking back, one of the escaping Azura Kings was killed by the illusion doppelgangers. 3 of the doppelgangers were killed, and the strongest one, the green-haired, green-eyed female Azura, escaped. Including the Ghost King, Lin Chen killed a total of 7 Azura Kings this time. His battle record was unprecedented. Boom. When Lin Chen removed the God Wind God set, his aura surged, and his cultivation started to break through. Congratulations, host, for reaching 5th-layer Divine Realm middle stage. On the other side, when the Azura Kings escaped, the morale of the battle in Nine Dragon City plummeted, and they were beaten up by the 5 teams led by Shun Lingshuang. The last few groups of experts who didn't manage to escape in time widened their horizons. They witnessed the Azura King's defeat and the Azura King realm's defeat, and they were satisfied. However, this team seemed to be determined to fight to the death. Boom, boom, boom. The divine power tide energy surged, and the divine light that could split heaven and earth attracted new laws to descend on Nine Dragon City. The experts of the various races were dumbfounded and gasped. Today, their knowledge was refreshed again and again. More than 100, no, several hundred people were breaking through in the midst of battle. Yi Qingwu grumbled as she collected the spoils of war. Can you guys hurry up and catch up? I can't handle it alone. I'm breaking through all day long. It's so annoying. The experts of the various races. Then Yi Qingwu snorted. Can you break through less? It's delaying the progress of the team. I'll give you 15 minutes to finish it. Don't waste the team's time. It's just breaking through a realm, hurry up. There's still a pile of good stuff waiting for you to check. The bug race experts? The phoenix race experts? Meow, meow, meow? The dragon race experts? It sounds human at first, but it doesn't sound human at all. Chapter 2089. Lin Chen's realm only stopped after a long time after reaching Stage 5 perfection. He was stopped at the bottleneck of Stage 6. Lin Chen could feel that the divine power, which was as vast as a nebula, was several times stronger than before. Now he should be able to compete with God King experts with pure cultivation. If he used all his trump cards, even if he didn't have God-defying and ultimate heaven-defying, he wouldn't be afraid of most God Kings. I only reached this realm after defeating so many Azura Kings. If it were 7 human God Kings, I might be able to try to reach Stage 6 with the attribute points I obtained. Lin Chen muttered to himself, looks like among the experts of the same level, the human race experts drop more God-grade essences, while the Azura tribe members receive the most attribute points, which I lack the most, talent points and heaven path points. Circulating his mental cultivation method, Lin Chen raised his hand and grabbed. The attribute treasure chests dropped by the dead Azura Kings all entered Lin Chen's hands. Obtained talent attribute treasure chest. Obtained Crimson Talent Fragment, 2/20. Obtained Energy Divinity Treasure Chest. Obtained Azura's Nemesis Divinity Fragment, 4/6. Obtained Elemental Energy Treasure Chest. Obtained 80 billion God Level Wind Energy. Obtained Azura's Soul Treasure Chest. Obtained 400 billion God Level Mental Energy. Obtained Energy Divinity Treasure Chest. Obtained Divinity Fragment Annihilation 1/3. with the host's body as the boundary point, absorb the enemy's divine power, soul power, life force, and other forms of energy. The divinity requires the host to be close to the enemy before it can be activated. Obtained Energy Divinity Treasure Chest. Obtained Azura's Nemesis Divinity Fragment, 5-6. A brand new dark red divinity fragment appeared in Lin Chen's mind. It was like a divinity fragment buried in a sea of blood. Once approached, even one's consciousness would be trapped. Lin Chen clicked his tongue in wonder. Good fellow, fighting Azura Kings. There are so many good things. The divine power in Tai spacetime surged like a tide. Suddenly, other than a ball of divine flames, star laws and lightning laws, a new law appeared. Green light floated and a storm danced. It was actually the law of wind. Lin Chen's fourth law. After killing the Azura King, the amount of divine wind energy he obtained was simply too abundant. In addition, he had obtained quite a bit of divine-level wind elemental energy after charging through the divine wraith hurricane region. It actually allowed Lin Chen to condense wind laws in one go. New divine core, new laws of nature, and breaking through 3 cultivation realms in a row. Lin Chen's gains from this battle were truly terrifying. With a flash of God Force, Lin Chen returned to Nine Dragon City. At this time, more than 10,000 of the 20,000 Azuras had been killed, and more than 10,000 of them had abandoned the battle and fled. In order to collect the spoils of war, no one chased after them. Yi Qingwu flew over, and when she saw Lin Chen, her red lips couldn't help but slightly open in shock. You broke through a new realm and grasped a new law? Lin Chen smiled and said, I accidentally broke through? Yi Qingwu exclaimed in admiration, You're really not human. How long has it been since you broke through to level 5 Divine Realm? You actually reached level 5 Divine Realm perfection already? Sometimes, Yi Qingwu really wanted to strip him naked to see what kind of secrets he had that made him so abnormal. When she was at the sacred boundary, she also did it in a few days and broke through several realms consecutively. Whether it was becoming a saint or a god, Lin Chen had always been the one who caught up from behind, the one who grew the most monstrous. If this continued, she might really be able to catch up to him. She said excitedly, Lin Chen, I found something good for you. Lin Chen said, How many casualties did we have? Yi Qingwu was startled. Currently, there are 570 dead, and the number of injured is unknown. The Azura tribe was the god of battle. Even if they had the advantage in terms of strategy, tactics, and momentum, they still couldn't make up for this gap. Lin Chen said, We only have this much capital. These compatriots have all gambled their lives with us. If we want to gain a foothold in the divine desolate star field, we still need to expand the team. Yi Qingwu thought for a while. I'm afraid that we need the strength of a divine master. Although a divine master is strong, but in the divine desolate star field, he can only be the leader of a small place. That's right, we found this. I've discussed with everyone, and the most suitable person for it is you. Yi Qingwu opened her palm. Inside the treasure box with dense spiritual light, there was a blue jade. It was as beautiful as the most beautiful gem in the world. The only difference was that when you approached it, you could feel that time and space had stopped. It looked harmless and beautiful on the outside, but inside, there was an endless time and space storm. The majestic and vigorous energy seemed to make the sun and moon still, the nebula silent, and only the light of the universe existed. Lin Chen's expression changed slightly. The blood essence of the ancient Taizhou dragon? I got it from an auction. A dragon king of the dragon tribe gave it to the Azura tribe to save his life. Yi Qingwu smiled playfully. Moreover, it is said that this is an ancient Taizhou dragon that participated in the War of the Ancients. The dragon master level should be equivalent to the human divine master level when it was alive. Excitement appeared on Yi Qingwu's charming face. What if you refine it and come into contact with the bloodline ability of the ancient Taizhou dragon tribe, or even the laws? Lin Chen was greatly moved. Without further ado, he immediately released the divine dragon. "I'll leave it to you, my great divine dragon." Opening the sealed jade box, the ancient Taizhou dragon's blood essence dragon jade seemed to have a mind of its own. It automatically shot towards Lin Chen's divine dragon and integrated into its body. Lin Chen's divine dragon seemed to have the ancient Taishi dragon and the ancient Taizhou dragon as its main body. After becoming a divine dragon, the influence of the other dragon bloodlines on it became weaker and weaker. In addition, Lin Chen's battle prowess was monstrous. Every time he battled with someone of a higher level, it would be someone of a higher level. As a result, the mystical dragon could only enhance Lin Chen's battle prowess with the Taishi divine light and the flash of time, as well as the pure strength that came with the possession. After the divine dragon obtained the dragon blood, the pale blue energy spread throughout the divine dragon veins in its body. It closed its dragon eyes as if it was sleeping. Lin Chen rubbed his chin. "I'm afraid I'll need some time to refine it. Although I can't release the divine dragon to fight, I can still use the divine dragon's possession to control pure strength." The pale blue dragon blood seemed to flow through every inch of the divine dragon's body. Lin Chen could feel that the dragon blood in the divine dragon's body was beginning to fall into stillness. In the stillness, the dragon blood was brewing a new life. "I also found this for you. You can shoot so well, it's most suitable for you." Yi Qingwu threw a scroll to Lin Chen. "I found it on the ghost underworld king that you killed." When Lin Chen opened it slightly, there were a few words written on it: Underworld Tai Bao. The arrow leads to the underworld, the bow turns into Tai, the arrow takes the 9 heavens. It is divided into underworld, soul-shattering, and deathly silence. The 3 moves are targeted at 3 different types of experts, different types of enemies, and different races. Lin Chen was moved. Red level technique. This technique scroll was one of the most eye-catching treasures in the auction. Yi Qingwu smiled sweetly. Everyone's cultivation is not enough, and those who are used to using bows have not reached the critical point of cultivation. They all recommend it to you. Lin Chen suddenly smiled. "It's you who gave me a bow cultivation method again. It reminds me of the time in the saint's world." The little fairy was stunned. Her beautiful eyes glowed, and when she smiled, her dimples became shallow. Her gaze gradually became gentle. Chapter 2090. Lin Chen's 5 phantom avatars sat down cross-legged, fusing with a massive amount of cultivation memories. The divine desolate star domain welcomed a silent darkness. It was like night had quietly arrived, crawling beneath 9 Dragon City. As everyone rested where they were, some began to cultivate, some began to break through, and some continued to do so. Everyone counted their spoils of war. The harvest from this battle was enormous. Evenly distributed to everyone, there were 400 medium-grade divine jade. This was the equivalent of 4 million low-grade divine jade. It was enough to support them for a period of time. However, because of the urgency of the battle, everyone seemed to have abandoned their future potential. They constantly forced their divine bodies to absorb more divine jade. No one knew if they would be able to survive the next battle. Abandoning the comfortable cultivation environment, for everyone, every battle in the divine desolate star field might be their last battle. Suddenly, Lin Chen, who was cultivating with all his might, opened his eyes. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. "Have we been discovered? Third Realm Sea, Dark Star Sea region, there really is something fishy." The 2 Lord God Lords guessed correctly. There really is another secret passage nearby. A vast and mighty army rushed into the Dark Star Sea region. They had actually discovered the secret of the Dark Star Sea region. It was a divine realm army. It was no wonder that Lin Chen's massive army had vanished into thin air. This was bound to arouse suspicion. To the divine realm's forces, what they lacked the least was manpower. With hundreds of thousands of powerful true divinities searching through the realm sea, although the realm sea was vast, If it was a limited area, they would be found sooner or later. You've come quickly. A mocking laugh echoed. Amidst the surging undercurrents, a young and handsome figure stepped out from the storm. The four God Kings' complexions changed. It's you? Lin Chen. One of the God Kings reacted quickly. No, it might not be his main body. The team around him has disappeared. Perhaps it's an avatar. Lin Chen smiled. That old fox's eyes are truly shrewd. This phantom avatar was left behind by Lin Chen to guard the rear, specifically to keep an eye on them. The other doppelgangers were still racing against time to cultivate the new Crimson technique. If more doppelgangers were to fight here, it would mean that they would have to stop cultivating. Lin Chen's doppelganger narrowed his eyes and used his divine sense to investigate the situation nearby. These old foxes are really cautious. Even if they're just searching, they still brought so many people and transferred the other doppelganger here. They can win, but they can't wipe them all out. More than 40,000 true gods had entered the Dark Star Sea domain. As long as one of them managed to escape, all their efforts would be wasted. Since he couldn't use the ultimate wind god set, even if he transferred all 5 of his doppelgangers over, he wouldn't be able to kill them all in an instant. Since he had already been exposed, there was no need for him to give up the time to cultivate a red-grade cultivation technique for them. Since that's the case, let's stall for more time. Boom. Lin Chen drew a line with his fingers. Stars adorned the sky, and a fierce wind blew. A 300-meter-long fire dragon intertwined with lightning shot out from his finger. A green-robed God King pushed out with both hands. The power of laws transformed into a wild dragon that collided head-on. Bang! The green-robed God King was slightly pushed back. He looked shocked. 4 types of laws, divine attainment fire, and perfected stage 5 of the divine realm? Hearing that, the 3 God Kings' faces were filled with astonishment. Where did this monster come from? Was this really Lin Chen? Damn it. How long has it been, and this kid has already reached perfected stage 5 of the divine realm. Although his doppelganger was strong before, it shouldn't be enough to fight a God King one-on-one. Without using that strange divine artifact, he can actually fight a God King. With such a monstrous growth curve, this kid would really catch up to Fu Tiandi in the future. He was a huge threat. If they didn't kill Lin Chen, they wouldn't be able to rest easy. Suddenly, a stage 9 divine realm expert with the law of darkness appeared. He said in a deep voice, "Lords, I've found out that the secret space passage leads to the divine wilderness star region. Quick, bring this information out and send it to the higher-ups as soon as possible." The 4 God Kings formed a group and surrounded Lin Chen's doppelganger. You'd rather fight than run? 1 against 4, these guys are suffering from the aftereffects of being beaten up by me. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed. Then let's have a finishing battle. It would be even better if we could trade 1 for 1. The crazy killing intent in his eyes actually scared the 4 God Kings so much that their mouths twitched. Damn it, this group of people was really playing with their lives all the time. Divine Wilderness Star Region, Realm 601, Nether Sea Region. The Nether Sea was churning, and the clouds and water were stirred. In the sky and on the ground, a supreme capital was built, and it was filled with battle chi and divine power. The smell of blood and killing intent seemed to fill every inch of space. There was a natural struggle here, and every city had battles with the Azura tribe. Green Goblin King, you came back just like that? Where's the good stuff? Didn't you say you were going to raid 9 Dragons City? When the blue-eyed Azura returned to the capital of the Nether Sea region, the Azura Kings asked in confusion. She angrily scolded, "Damn it, a ruthless human appeared in the Divine Wilderness Star region, and he led a team to kill more than half of our people." As soon as she said that, the entire Nether Sea region was shaken. The blue-eyed Azura said seriously, "Where is the Blood Kaiser? I want to see him. This human's deeds must be reported to the higher-ups, and he must be killed in advance." Go to Realm 577 Heavenly Star Region. Xue Jianming and Yuan Wujue looked at Lin Chen in shock. The handsome Luo Yu pondered for a moment, then said seriously, Big Brother Lin, are you sure? It wasn't easy for us to kill our way to Nine Dragon City and get some resources. Everyone just went through a bloody battle and started to recover. Are you going to attack Heavenly Star Region? We should take a detour from Realm 579 to Nine Worlds Mountain. It's too far. Lin Chen shook his head and pointed at a dim mark on the star map. We don't have time. The people from the Divine Wilderness have found the secret passage in the Dark Star Sea region, and there will be an army chasing after us soon. These old foxes aren't stupid. I'm afraid there will be a Divine Master leading the chase this time. Zhao Anren subconsciously blurted out, but there's no need to be in such a hurry. Do you know who is the Master of Heavenly Star region now? It's the people from the Divine Wilderness, and there are experts from the God race among them. God race. In detail, Lin Chen hadn't really fought with the God race. Besides An Wuchen and another God Emperor during the Divine Continent War, Lin Chen hadn't met a third person from the God race. The enemies he met in the Realm Sea were called the God race's team, but they were actually recruited from the 5 continents and cultivated in the Divine Wilderness. The 10 great God Kings were the same. Although they belonged to the Divine Wilderness in name, they were actually promoted from the Star Continent. The real God race was the ruler of the Divine Wilderness. They were a small part of the human race in the Divine Wilderness, but they were an existence that suppressed the hundreds of sects of the Divine Wilderness and the thousands of families of the 5 continents. Lin Chen said in a low voice, We don't have many choices left. If we choose another route and depart from Realm 579, before we reach Nine Worlds Mountain, it's very likely that the pursuing team from the Realm Sea will arrive first. Once they meet up with the forces from the Divine Wilderness of Heavenly Star region, we will be attacked from both sides. Lin Chen's eyes glowed with the fighting spirit of cutting off all means of retreat. He shouted coldly, Before they know where we are, we will strike first and beat them to death. He really dared to be the first in the world. Everyone's heart surged with lofty sentiments. They had already beaten up the Azura race, so why would they be afraid of the God race? Invade the Heavenly Star region. Just fight. Chapter 2091. Deity World, Deity Region. In a floating loft, the jade bed rocked for a long time. When it finally stopped, a young girl's lazy voice could be heard. Xingqian, take this. Lin Xingqian, who had just gotten out of bed, took a jade the size of Long Qing. Lin Xingqian asked curiously, This is? The beautiful girl's slender waist stretched slightly. Sweat dripped down her smooth skin. She rested her chin on her hands and swung her legs. She was indeed an outstanding beauty. The young girl smiled and said, This is one of the gifts I have prepared for you. It is a relic of the 8 Desolation Sword Master. It can open his spiritual space and obtain his divine bone before he died. Lin Xingqian was moved. Divine bone. Experts above the divine master level had a chance of cultivating to the extreme. Their divine body would undergo a qualitative change and become comparable to the heavenly Tao. Their divine body would merge with the laws and become a part of the laws. Once an expert of this level died, his corpse would produce a unique divine bone. The divine bone would contain part of the cultivation techniques and the laws that the owner had mastered. There would also be laws left behind. Once refined, not only would one be able to master the cultivation techniques of the owner of the divine bone, but they would also possess part of the laws and even the cultivation of the laws. The young girl in the silver dress combed her hair and said seriously, The divine region has a long history. Emperor Shi's tomb is very important to you. You cannot be careless. I cannot show myself. Otherwise, the dragon race and the Ashura race will send experts to deal with me. You have to rely on yourself this time. This is a trump card for you. She was serious and transmitted her voice using the laws. Remember, Emperor, she has a desolate treasure manual. I want you to snatch it. You cannot let it fall into the hands of others. If the worst-case scenario happens and you are unable to obtain the desolate treasure manual, destroy it. After you destroy it, collect its fragments and give them to me." Lin Xingqian's eyes flashed with excitement. He said, "Master, could this be?" "That's right. It is related to the last mausoleum left behind by Emperor Qin and the treasures of the 12 god thearchs under him. I am already 60% confident. I am only missing this manual. If I can obtain it, I can guarantee that I will be able to calculate the location of the 12 Emperor treasures and Emperor Qin's mausoleum." His golden pupils immediately lit up with divine light. 9 Dragon City. When the order was given, everyone was in a heated discussion. "It wasn't easy for us to take down 9 Dragon City, and now we're going to attack the Heavenly Star Domain? Ninedragon's underground is rich in resources. It's a pity to leave just like that." "Silly child, Big Brother Lin Chen's move is called keeping the land but losing the people, and keeping the people alive means keeping the land. We don't have the ability to defend 9 dragons, so we might as well give up. The best offense is the best defense." The divine light was like a rainbow, and the clouds were steaming with rosy clouds. In 9 Dragon City, phenomenons would appear from time to time. The number of people breaking through was still increasing. Outside the city, Yuan Wujue, Jiang Fan, Lu Qixin, Tang Jianghai, Shang Guanyun, and the others, along with Lin Chen, stood guard for the soldiers. The night before they were about to leave for the Heavenly Star Field, it was time for everyone to rest. Lin Chen rested his head on his hands and lay on the floor, looking up at the starry sky. The vast star chart was like a giant beast hanging in the sky, magnificent and majestic, with countless dangers hidden within, but one couldn't help but be intoxicated by it. Lin Chen sighed, "The divine desolate star-filled starry sky is magnificent. I won't get tired of it no matter how long I look at it." Shang Guanyun glanced at him. "If you didn't make this choice, you could easily look at it for the rest of your life." Lin Chen smiled indifferently. "There are some things that need to be done." Yuan Wujue drank a mouthful of strong wine and grinned. "Lu Qixin, have you ever thought about what will happen after we defeat the god race?" Leaning against a rock, Lu Qixin's eyes lit up as a smile appeared on his cold and childish face. "With my saber intent, I will protect the people until the world no longer oppresses us." Yuan Wujue laughed. "Good boy, you're ambitious. Let me toast to you." "What about you, Big Brother Yuan?" Lu Qixin asked. "I've already forgotten about the worldly affairs. I just want to open a winery and let the world taste the best wine in the world." Yuan Wujue smiled proudly. Lu Qixin looked at Jiang Fan, who was resting with his eyes closed. "What about Big Brother Jiang Fan?" Jiang Fan opened his eyes, his sword aura glowing as he said indifferently, "I was born in the oppressed world sea. My whole life, I only want to reach the pinnacle of the sword path. If I can live until that time, I'm willing to open a sect and teach all the sincere swordsmen in the world." Lu Qixin's bright eyes turned and looked at Tang Jianghai. The beautiful woman raised her eyebrows. "What, you also want to ask me?" Lu Qixin nodded. Tang Jianghai lightly stroked the divine bow and said indifferently, "I don't have great ambitions like all of you. I only want to kill the god race. I hate the god race to the core. Eradicating them from history is my life's destiny." Tang Jianghai's eyes turned. "What about Miss Anren? If I'm not wrong, Miss Anren is the princess of the divine country and has the god power inheritance. Even if you want to go, you don't need to do it yourself, right?" Stroking her black hair, Zhao Anren smiled sweetly. "I only came here to follow the footsteps of history and the truth. After defeating the god race, I hope that someone can suppress the Azura race. All the races in the world have been harmed by the Azura race and are on the verge of extinction." Yuan Wujue raised his eyebrows at Xue Jianming. "Brother Xue, you were the first to come in contact with Brother Lin Chen. Other than fighting against the god race, do you have any other goals? Shui Jianming's expression was serious. Yes, a goal that I desire very much. Everyone looked at him curiously. To find a good wife. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Even someone as cold as Tang Jianghai couldn't help but smile. Shui Jianming said, "The first to come in contact with Brother Lin Chen wasn't me. It was Miss Yi." Everyone looked at Yi Qingwu. Yi Qingwu said seriously, "The reason I followed the team is very simple. It is to witness the birth of the King of Trouble." Wait a minute. Shun Lingshuang, who was disguised as a man, put her hands on her hips and said with dissatisfaction, "In terms of the first to come in contact with Lin Chen, I came much earlier than Sister Xia. Obviously I came first. Why is it her?" Yi Qingwu smiled faintly. "It's not like you're marrying a wife. What's the rush? You came first." Shin Lingshuang's white face was tinged with a faint blush. She said seriously, "Anyway, I came first. You came later." Lu Qixin suddenly looked at Lin Chen. "Speaking of which, what about Brother Lin Chen? After killing the god race, does Brother Lin Chen have any other wishes?" Turning their gazes, everyone looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen poured himself a cup of wine and raised it as if he was toasting the heavens and earth. "Overthrow the god race, establish a heart for the heavens and earth, establish a life for all living beings, create a unique skill for order, and establish peace for all ages." That day everyone drank wine as music. They were full of passion and spirit, pure like a flawless jade. Until the momentum of the breakthrough in Nine Dragons City gradually disappeared, Lin Chen stopped drinking the wine in his cup. Everyone looked at each other with high fighting spirit. "Let's go to Heavenly Star area. Let's go to the god race and collect some interest." Chapter 2092. An ancient pagoda from the desolate antiquity era was faintly visible in the heavenly star field. The top of the pagoda went straight into the nebula, and the surrounding stars revolved around the pagoda like the sun and the moon. It was like an eternal existence standing between heaven and earth. At the top of the pagoda stood a young man in a red robe. His face was fair, his lips were red, and his teeth were white. His eyebrows were like swords, and he was handsome beyond compare. He carried a long spear on his back and faced the vast starry sky. He stood alone at the top of the pagoda, his expression cold and arrogant as he held a spatial jade slip in his hand. The three elders behind him knelt on one knee and lowered their heads, not daring to act rashly. After a moment, the young man in the red robe crushed the jade slip and sneered. "The God Realm's lackeys of the Star Continent are here to teach me how to do things? Men are really messy when they wear skirts." Rumble. 3 god statues rose above the young man in the red robe. The illusory and vast images were peerless, suppressing all the gods of the heavenly star field and making their hearts tremble. A divine spear hummed without wind, transmitting a godly might that could split the sky. The higher-ups of the heavenly star field were moved. The young master was angry. An old man in embroidered clothes trembled as he cupped his hands together and said, But what the upper echelons of the divine realm said is the truth. That bastard Lin Chen seems to have already passed through the secret passage of the realm sea and appeared in the divine desolate star region." The young man in the red robe smiled coldly. "You mean to say that you want me to go and kill a maggot that only dares to crawl in feces underground? No, we don't dare. They are just worried about the young master's safety. After all, the enemy can summon the last wisp of Lin Tiandi's soul. We can't be careless. It's possible that he might launch a surprise attack on the young master. They just hope that the young master will send some people." Before the elder in the brocade robe could finish, blood seeped out of his neck. His neck tilted and his head fell to the ground. Divine blood sputtered everywhere. The remaining 2 instantly felt their scalps go numb and their hair stand on end. A divine king was actually instantly killed? They didn't even notice when the young master attacked. Grabbing the old man's remaining divine soul with one hand, the young man's eyes were filled with arrogance and his tone was cold. What the God clan has given you, we can take back at any time. Go back and tell those lackeys that this young master's soldiers are only for my use. If they want to order me around, then go and call those 10 bastards over. Yes, yes. We'll pass on young master's orders now. The 2 old men retreated in fear and trepidation, leaving with the old man's soul. The young man in the red robe clasped his hands behind his back. The divine spear hummed, and the 3 divine statues slowly disappeared. He sneered, "Surprise attack? The heavenly star field is surrounded by a sea of stars. There is the extermination starry sea formed by the extermination starry sea. With me here, not even the Azura tribe dares to invade. How could a maggot have the guts to invade my domain?" His eyes flashed with a blood-red light as if he was reminiscing about the past. The red-robed youth waved his hand towards the starry sky, causing the winds and clouds to change. The heart technique he was using was also the Tai Fu Heaven mantra, Lin Tiandi's remnant soul? What's the use of jumping out now? A loser is a loser. Carry the infamy of history and be forever engraved in the curses of the world. Heavenly star field, grand galaxy. The vast divine river formed by the gung metal divine chi was a rolling river with no end in sight. As the dense gung metal divine chi gathered, the center was shrouded by the extermination starry sea. If the gung metal divine chi was equivalent to divine power, then the extermination starry sea was as powerful as an extraordinary law. A single starry sea could illuminate 10,000 feet. The extermination starry sea was as vast as a nebula, almost endless. 2 divine guards were guarding this place. One of them was chewing elixirs as if they were candy, constantly stuffing them into his mouth. Suddenly, the other divine guard exclaimed, "I think I saw a figure in the sea of stars?" The golden-armored divine guard who was chewing the elixir waved his hand. All right. Don't slack off when you're on duty. Why are you pretending to be serious? Even a divine king would die if he entered this extermination starry sea. Who would be so suicidal to come here? No. The silver-armored divine guard gradually became aghast. Look carefully with the law of divine power. There really seems to be a figure. The golden-armored divine guard clapped his hands and got up impatiently. When he looked over, his eyes widened. The divine river was surging violently like a ring of stars. The torrential divine current was rolling like a raging river. A divine ship, with a fierce and fearless aura, fiercely broke through countless destructive starlights and flew over. The pitch-black divine light was like the unbreakable brilliance of the sun and moon. When it rotated above the divine ship, the extermination starry sea could not break its defense. F***CK. The golden-armored divine guard was so scared that his limbs turned to jelly, and the corners of his mouth trembled. On the divine ship, there were 27 figures standing upright, and they were rushing toward them with an unstoppable momentum. Who the hell had the guts to cross the extermination starry sea by force? The silver-armored divine guard was drenched in cold sweat. Hurry up and inform. After knocking the silver-armored divine guard over with a punch, the golden-armored divine guard scolded angrily, F***CKU, calm down. His eyes flickered with intense golden light. We're going to be rich this time. These people's background is not small. They know whose territory the Tao Heaven Star Field is, yet they still dare to attack. If a fight breaks out, we brothers will charge into the treasury, take the treasures, leave our positions, and go to the realm sea to establish a few small forces. Wouldn't that be a good thing? But your ass. Didn't you see how those high and mighty god race dogs treat us? They don't plan on putting us in important positions. The golden-armored divine guard's eyes flickered. This time, it's my turn to be the fisherman. When they fight, the more intense the better. There were only 2 divine guards guarding the extermination starry sea. After all, this was the strongest defense line, the Tao Heaven Star Field's unique divine power defense line. Who would place their main force on the strongest defense line? Moreover, with the god race's name, almost no one thought that there would be enemies invading, and they would come from the extermination starry sea. Whether it was in theory or thinking, it was the same as seeking death. For a time, other than the two divine guards, no one else saw the shuttle of flying Apsara. Star Pagoda. The scarlet-robed youth was planning on stretching his body before leaving the tower. Divine wind swept up, clouds billowing in the sky. A silver-robed figure descended from the heavens like frost, landing in front of the scarlet-robed youth. At that moment the four pairs of eyes met. The scarlet-robed youth's divine blood inexplicably throbbed. His highest unity space actually felt a strong sense of hostility. He looked at the silver-robed youth in front of him, saying in shock, "Highest unity heaven technique?" The silver-robed youth smiled, gentle and refined. "Just now, who did you say was the loser of history? Why do I feel like it's just the beginning?" Chapter 2093. The moment they landed in the Star Pagoda, Lin Chen didn't know that when they used the Tai sky concealing technique, one of the two remaining soul fires hovering behind him fluctuated violently. It was as if the will hidden in it was fluctuating intensely. After a while, it slowly calmed down. A pitiful hero sacrificed thousands of lives in exchange for the present. Hum. The divine spear hummed without any wind. The azure divine spear seemed to have a mind of its own as it flew into the hands of the red-robed youth. This person also cultivates the Tai sky concealing technique and made me instinctively alert? Could it be that his cultivation technique is above mine? The red-robed youth narrowed his eyes. "Kid, tell me your name." Rumble. A peerless power that could open up the universe instantly surged. The golden light of the god of war shone on the top of the Star Pagoda. As the golden cape fluttered, heaven and earth roared. Host used the golden battle god set. Current charge, 65%. Increasing the host's pure power. 5 billion desolate power, 10 billion desolate power, 15 billion desolate power. Lin Chen didn't waste any time. He punched out with his golden divine spear. The azure divine spear instantly spun and swept toward Lin Chen, knocking away the golden divine fist. The two of them immediately took a few steps back. The desolate power exploded, shaking the Star Pagoda. Space seemed to distort and collapse, shaking the entire celestial domain. What's going on? There's a change in the celestial domain. It's in the young master's direction. Who dares to mess with the Almighty? Confirm the young master's safety immediately. Quick, those above the God King level, follow me. The entire celestial domain was shaken. The power of Lin Chen's punch alarmed many experts and drew closer to the Star Pagoda. Just as the celestial domain fell into a temporary panic, the God King level experts had just left. Under the celestial domain's starry sky, a silver battleship burning with divine flames appeared. The pupils of some divine guards who were still in a daze shrank. What kind of team was this? How dare they attack the celestial domain? Thunderous laughter came from the battleship. It was full of fighting spirit and lofty sentiments. Ah! The enemy's base camp. Everyone, close your eyes and slash. 1 for 1, 1 for 2, Prophet. It's all thanks to Big Brother Lin Chen's absolute defense. Even the extermination celestial river could withstand it. Attack from the back and stab them in the eye. I've been pissed off at them for a long time now. What's the big deal about the deity realm? So what if they beat up all the deities in the world? 26 figures flew out of the battleship and entered the heavenly star field. After a brief moment of chaos, a divine guard shouted coldly via voice transmission, "Don't be afraid. The opponent doesn't even have the cultivation of a divine king. We have a few thousand true gods in our spies. The 26 of them are nothing to worry about." Boom! Lu Qixin pulled out his saber and wielded it. The overwhelming saber intent, which was as dazzling as the snow-white light, cut down the magic screen inside the heavenly star domain. Everyone was aghast. What the F***ck? Was this the attack power of someone at the 8th stage of the Divine Realm? Even those at the 9th level of the Divine Realm might not have such standards. The Divine Lieutenant wearing the Beast God cape sneered. Do you think you're invincible? Or do you not understand the importance of numbers? The Divine Lieutenant slammed his palm forward. A huge hand of stars, which covered the sky and the sun, was mixed with the vast laws of stars. It suppressed everything and hit Lu Qixin head-on. Lu Qixin raised his saber and slashed horizontally. The saber light was like blood boiling. Swoosh! An arrow light shot out together with him and pierced through the enemy. Tang Jianghai stopped in the air and said via voice transmission, "Don't be careless. The enemy is not a weakling." Lu Qixin said coldly, "I'll be tougher than them." The 26 of them were the top combat power of Team 1 and Team 2. They attacked together, using the phantom doppelgangers and Shen Lingshuang to open a path. They killed their way to the frontline city of the Heavenly Star Field. Seeing their rout, the Divine Lieutenant was stunned at first. Then, he shouted angrily, "Stop them!" Suddenly, a few laws transmitted their voices. "Divine Lieutenant, there's a report from the outside. A 3,000-man team has attacked the defense line of the Heavenly Star Field. Divine Lieutenant, a 2,000-man team has appeared in the trading area on the east. They're behind us. Divine Lieutenant, a large number of true gods have appeared in the chaotic star ocean on the lower, middle, and lower sides of the Heavenly Star Field. Their numbers are unknown, and their locations are uncertain." More and more voice transmissions came. Although there were more than 100,000 true gods guarding the Heavenly Star Field, the Divine Lieutenant was drenched in cold sweat as he listened to the large number of voice transmissions. This group of people didn't come here to make a ruckus. They really planned to destroy the Heavenly Star Field. I remember now. This guy is Lin Chen, the one who recently received news from the deity realm. Lin Chen, the one who challenged the deity realm? My goodness, how did they get here? How many star fields are there between the Heavenly Star Field and the deity realm? Suddenly, some experts recognized Lin Chen's phantom doppelgangers. Their fighting spirit collapsed, and the team was in chaos. The Divine Lieutenant was shocked. Lin Chen? They actually came to the Heavenly Star Field. Oh no, they want to fight from the inside and outside. They want to attack from the inside and break the Heavenly Star Field's defense line. They want to open up a battlefield inside. The Divine Lieutenants came back to their senses and transmitted their voices to inform the deity kings who were on their way to the Star Pagoda. Heavenly Star Field, top of the Star Pagoda. Lin Chen? The young man in the red robe had a cold expression. I didn't expect it to be you. What a surprise. There's something strange about this fellow. Lin Chen shook his numb fist. He actually also cultivates the Tai Fu Tian technique. As expected, the genius of the deity clan practiced the same technique as him. Coupled with the incident with the Huai clan, and this time, Lin Chen's guess was confirmed. Perhaps there was a cruel truth among the three deity clans that was hard to accept. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Divine light flashed, and 15 deity kings hurried over. Young master, are you all right? Hearing this, the young man in the red robe was filled with killing intent. His eyes were so cold that it made one's hair stand on end. He said coldly, "Stand down." The young man in the red robe pointed the azure divine spear at Lin Chen. "There are only a few people in the same generation who can fight with me. Other than the bastard who was crowned as one of the top 10 deity geniuses, I have few opponents in the same generation. It's easy for me to deal with such trash. Or do you think that this guy is already at the same level as the other 10 deity geniuses?" The deity kings were covered in cold sweat, and their faces were pale. The topic of the top 10 deity geniuses was taboo in front of their young master. If they went up to help, it would be a disgrace to their young master's name. Yes, the deity kings retreated, but they didn't dare to go too far. Only Lin Chun and the young man in the red robe were left on the star pagoda. Golden lightning flashed from the azure divine spear as the young man in the red robe laughed. "Remember my name, Chun Junlin. Seeing that you dared to attack the celestial star zone, you have the right to die in my hands." The golden light was like a dragon. The golden light of the god of war illuminated the sky and finally turned into a spear. Host has activated the second form of the god of war set's accessory weapon, God of War Spear. Set characteristic, Power Laceration. The God of War Spear fell into Lin Chen's hand and he smiled. "Don't worry. I've beaten the number one in the deity world. You won't be an exception." Chapter 2094. Qi. Golden lightning burst forth in space as Qin Junlin thrust his spear forward. Pure killing intent materialized and transformed into the massacre nomological laws that wrapped around the tip of the spear. Lin Chun stepped back and turned around, thrusting his spear forward. The two spears clashed, spear tip against spear tip, creating a golden haze that swept through the starry sky. Godly King? Lin Chun took a few steps back as his expression turned serious. It was his first time seeing such a young godly king. Furthermore, this person was from the celestial race. His foundation was second only to Lin Xingchen. "Bastard, you are not bad. Ha 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 ha." Chen Junlin laughed arrogantly. "Don't die too quickly. Give this young master more excitement." His spear struck out like a dragon as Lin Chun took a step forward. The azure divine spear danced like lightning as it pierced towards Lin Chun from all directions. Every spear strike was mixed with the destructive lightning and massacre nomological laws. Host has removed minimum consumption. Continuous increase in pure strength. 40 billion desolate power. 50 billion desolate power. Golden light filled the sky as Lin Chun held his spear with both hands. With a swing of the battle god's spear, the spear whirled and collided head-on. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them shot out of the star pagoda. Two golden divine lights mixed with lightning flashed into the skies of the celestial star domain. As the spear and spear clashed, the aftermath of the battle was like an apocalyptic disaster. The pure strength was like dozens of primordial divine beasts colliding at the same time. It shocked the 20 godly kings into retreating again and again. So strong. This is the first time this king has seen someone of the same generation who can fight with young master. This kid is indeed worthy of being able to make Lin Tiandi's remnant soul appear. He is truly talented. Such tyrannical pure strength. How did he cultivate it? This kid's pure strength is already close to that of a fourth heaven godly king. The front lines are under attack. Should we take action? Don't be anxious. The opponent is not even at the godly king realm. They can't do much. Instead, it is this Lin Chun that we should pay attention to. After all, he has the strength of a desperate foe. He might even counterattack and cause great damage to young master. The godly kings did not dare to be too far away. If anything happened to Qin Junlin, they would all be beheaded. The heavenly star area could be reborn, but nothing could happen to Qin Junlin. His background was so terrifying. Clang! The starlight dispersed. The two of them stood in the starry sky and exchanged over 100 blows. The tips of the spears collided once again. When the two spears bounced off each other, chi waves exploded. Consumed 5 million heavenly Tao points. Activating immortal godhead. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lin Chun didn't use his spear. Instead, his divine fist law flourished. With the support of the wind and thunder, his pure strength increased once again as he punched at Qin Junlin. Qin Junlin raised his hand and struck out with his palm. 8 desolate hell palm. 8 layers of divine light revolved around his palm. The aura of death was faintly discernible. 8 different illusions of hell burst out from his palm and enveloped Lin Chen. His palm was the center of hell. It was actually a crimson tier absolute art. The crimson rank cultivation techniques of ordinary divine kings were easily obtained by him. Bang! The ferocious divine fist was like a beam of divine light under the starry sky, shattering the 8 layers of hell. Golden light spread out, and the divine light shot out like fragments of light, stirring up heaven and earth. Chen Junlin sneered. With the power of this move, even if it's scattered, it will still erode divine power. Who would have thought that Lin Chen would take a step forward, his figure dashing through the shattered hell god light? What? You took my palm head on. Ignoring the erosion of the divine light of hell, Lin Chen punched out. The light dimmed, and wherever the golden divine fist passed, even light couldn't escape the trajectory of space bending. Chen Junlin patted his waist, and the 8-colored divine mirror flew out and covered his head. It shone down dozens of laws and divine power, forming a barrier to protect him. Bang! 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 Lin Chen's frenzied punches continued to land on Chen Junlin. The light of the universe collapsed, and the light was distorted. From a third party's point of view, the battle range of the two looked like darkness. The pure power that pierced through the stars completely shattered the light. Lin Chen punched like a madman. Chen Junlin was supposed to counterattack, but when he looked into Lin Chen's eyes, he suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Crack! A crack appeared on Chen Junlin's protective divine mirror, forcing him to use his movement technique and retreat tens of thousands of feet. He was shocked, and he said in disbelief, "What kind of punch is that? It's just an ordinary punch. So brutal? Because you're playing, and I'm playing with my life." Whoosh! The war god's spear flew back to Lin Chen's hand, and he swept out with his spear. The golden spear wind swept through the galaxy, and wherever the golden light shone, all the stars exploded. Chi! Chen Junlin swung his spear, and the pale green spear tip tore apart the golden spear light that swept through the sky. Chen Junlin's expression was solemn. In terms of battle situation, Lin Chen was already covered in blood, while Chen Junlin was still uninjured. However, Chen Junlin did not feel that he had the upper hand. Facing Lin Chen, this was the first time he felt the terror of battle. Chen Junlin had encountered many opponents stronger than Lin Chen. There were even those stronger than him among the 3 divine tribes. However, none of those opponents were more terrifying than him. Very good, 3-dimensional human Lin Chen. I will no longer think that you are inferior to me. Chen Junlin shouted coldly, "Come out, Xuanyan." Instantly, the celestial domain shook, and the trembling stars began to crack, and a flame rushed into the sky. In the sea of fire, a crimson divine lion bathed in endless divine flames stepped on the waves of fire, transforming into a size of more than 100 feet. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes. This desolate divine lion was actually comparable to a 4th heaven godly king. It was even stronger than the dragon king of the 3rd heaven realm. Its vitality was probably ridiculously strong. However, this divine lion's bloodline had reached the end, and it would be difficult for it to grow any further. An existence of this level would be an overlord in any domain, and its arrogance was not small. Even an ordinary master god would not be able to subdue it. Lin Chen, who had deduced many things from one instance, quickly realized, since it can submit to the divine tribe, the divine tribe must have offered an unprecedented price to subdue it. This price could only be achieved by the divine tribe. What could it be? Riding on the divine lion, Chen Junlin pointed at Lin Chen with a spear in his hand. "You are worthy of my full strength, and I will kill you with full respect." Lin Chen suddenly smiled. "You have come at the right time." A pure flow of blood was separated, and Lin Chen's pure strength decreased slightly, from 60 billion desolate power to 50 billion desolate power. Immediately after, a dragon's roar shook the starry sky. In the celestial domain, Yi Qingwu, who was in the middle of a battle, suddenly felt her heart skip a beat. When she turned to look in the direction of the extinct star sea, a look of disbelief appeared on her face. Even if it's Lin Chen, this is too ridiculous. His divine dragon should not have broken through to the Dragon King level, but now it has increased by several realms? Is that drop of dragon blood so heaven-defying? Near the extinct star sea, the god kings were stunned. A vast and majestic crimson golden dragon claw tore apart the divine light, and a domineering ancient dragon appeared out of nowhere. Chapter 2095. Qin Junlin's pupils shrank. What is that? The ancient dragon's body was endless, like a river of stars. Its entire body was surrounded by a red dragon energy that turned into clouds. The dragon had 5 claws and the dragon head's beard danced in the wind. It was extraordinarily mighty. Those deep azure dragon scales hid an eternal and inextinguishable dragon light. In the space where the ancient dragon flew, there was a layer of vacuum around the dragon. In that vacuum, it was as if even time had stopped. The divine lion said in a low and muffled voice, "An ancient dragon that possesses the 2 bloodlines of Taishi and Taizhou. He actually possesses the Taizhou bloodline that even the dragon race's supreme dragon lords fear." Holding the war god's spear, Lin Chen stepped on the dragon and faced Qin Junlin. A domineering dragon's aura slowly rose, and it actually stood on equal footing with Qin Junlin's divine lion. Qin Junlin was moved. Even my god race doesn't have this. Where did this brat obtain this ancient dragon? A light screen appeared in front of Lin Chen, refining the ancient dragon's divine blood complete. Congratulations to host. The divine dragon has broken through to the 3rd level of the Dragon King realm. Promotion: 3rd level Dragon King. Dragon King control bloodline instinct. Dragon vein of time and space. This bloodline instinct is unique to the ancient dragon. According to its own cultivation needs, energy can form a time domain and adjust its cultivation time. Note: this bloodline instinct has been strengthened by bloodline strengthening. Dragon vein of time and space. This was the most powerful dragon bloodline instinct Lin Chen had ever seen. There was no other. It was because of this that the ancient dragon was the closest existence to the ancestral dragon. The ancient dragon was the most feared existence of the dragon race, the dragon lords, and the dragon emperors. The more powerful an ancient dragon was, the more it could adjust its cultivation time within its body. For example, a day in the 4-dimensional universe could become a year, 10 years, 100 years in the body of an ancient dragon. If one's cultivation was high enough, it could even become 1,000 years. A day in the outside world was 10 years, 100 years in the ancient dragon's cultivation. To the ancient dragon, time was something it did not lack. The most terrifying thing was that this bloodline talent could benefit from Lin Chen's bloodline strengthening. Lin Chen's current ancient dragon could control the dragon's body for more than 10 years. One day in the 4-dimensional universe, the dragon body's cultivation time was equivalent to 10 years, and the bloodline strengthening increase was 670%. 67 years plus 10 years. For a day in the 4th dimension, his Dragon King could cultivate for 77 years. If 1 year in the 4-dimensional universe was counted as 1 year, his Dragon King could cultivate for more than 28,000 years. Although it seemed like less than 3 days had passed since Lin Chen's Dragon King had refined the ancient Ian Dragon Lord's dragon blood, the truth was that over 100 years had passed within the Dragon King's body. Comprehended bloodline ability, Grand Universe Domain Claw. When this bloodline is activated, it can stop the flow of time in a part of space. It can stop beings of the same cultivation level for 1 second, and the effect will be halved if they exceed the same cultivation level. Note: this bloodline ability has been enhanced by bloodline strengthening. We must win the battle in the heavenly star field. Lin Chen's eyes shone with a strong fighting spirit. Almost at the same time, the Dragon King raised his claw. A few dragon claw marks streaked across the void. There was no earth-shattering power, but time stopped wherever it passed. Starlight stopped flickering, as though it was frozen in this scene. The ancient Aeon dragon, whose cultivation level had reached the Dragon King level, could naturally affect the flow of time. Not good. The divine lion roared and spat out 100 fire pillars. They were like winding fire dragons surging out majestically and colliding with Dragon Scar. Lin Chen brandished his spear and attacked. The sharp spear shadow pierced through the starry sky and headed straight for Lin Chen. Following that, the Dragon King brandished his second claw. The deep azure dragon light transformed into a dragon claw that was thousands of feet long. The Grand Universe Domain Claw blasted towards Chen Junlin, exploding with a large amount of Grand Universe Divine Light that enveloped Chen Junlin and the Divine Lion beneath him. Instantly, the Divine Lion's attack and Chen Junlin's spear froze in the void. Time stopped? Chen Junlin's expression changed slightly. Consumed 100 million divine heavenly Tao points to activate God Induction Godhead. God Induction. Lin Chen struck out with his palm. A pitch-black enchantment descended, suppressing ghosts, gods, and heavenly demons. The God Induction enchantment that sealed the heavens imprisoned the man and lion. God Induction Godhead plus Grand Universe Domain Claw. One move to seal the man, one move to seal the force. Lin Chen did not make a move, but the moment he made a move, it was a killing move. Lin Chen leaped into the air and brandished his spear. A golden spear wind smashed towards the top of his head. The Dragon King flew up and swept his tail angrily. The dragon tail shattered the void. Bam! Bam! The primordial Divine Lion and Chen Junlin were sent flying at the same time. The Divine Lion splattered blood. The protective divine light released by Chen Junlin's Heavenly Master Divine Mirror actually began to dim slightly. Although it was still a long way from breaking through the defense, it had indeed weakened Chen Junlin's defense. Lin Chen and the Dragon King were like a hot knife through butter. Their spear techniques were quick and swift. Chen Junlin regrouped and immediately retaliated. The Divine Lion roared angrily and pounced over with its flames. It actually transformed into the phantom of the 9-headed Divine Lion. The Dragon King moved, and the Dragon Shadow stopped time. With a flash, he dodged the opponent's attack with the Grand Universe Domain technique and slapped the Divine Lion's head with his claw. The Divine Lion opened its mouth and spat out a meteor-like rain of fire. The Dragon King changed his movements again. When he dodged the rain of fire, he used his dragon tail to entangle the primordial Divine Lion. The dragon tail exerted strength and swung towards the sky. The Dragon King threw the Divine Lion under a star and clawed at Chen Junlin. The spear danced, and the handle and body of the spear collided. The two of them fought faster and faster. Only their afterimages were left under the starry sky. One man and one dragon, one man and one lion, fought from the starry sky to the star domain. It was continuous and even started to approach the extermination star sea. Although the Dragon King's departure caused the pure strength amplification of the Golden Battle God set to decrease, the advantage was that he was connected to the Dragon King's consciousness. Although the primordial Divine Lion had submitted, it and Chen Junlin's cooperation leaned more towards fighting on their own. They were not connected as one. But even so, Lin Chen was still having a hard time fighting. It looked like he had the upper hand, but in reality, danger was everywhere. Lin Chen was fighting above his level, while the Dragon King was fighting above his level. Although they had the advantage in cooperation, it still couldn't be turned into a decisive factor to decide the outcome. Something's not right. The Divine Kings watching the battle stared at the battlefield and felt that something was wrong. I keep feeling that something is not right. Although Lin Chen has many trump cards, he is still a long way from defeating young master. If this continues, with young master's foundation, the one who will be exhausted to death will definitely be Lin Chen. What is he trying to do? All the divine kings stared at Lin Chen, unwilling to miss any of his moves. They were ready to intervene at any time. Bang! After another clash of spears, the two sides separated. In the extermination star sea, Lin Chen used pure strength to block the extermination star sea, while Chen Junlin used the divine mirror to protect himself and faced it head-on. The divine lion and the dragon king were not so relaxed, especially the dragon king. Although he had the Taishi divine light to protect himself, his realm was still a level lower. After being hit by the extermination star sea for a few rounds, the divine light began to dim. Sweat poured down like rain, and the blood in his divine body was in turmoil. When blood streaked across his eyes, Lin Chen was exhausted. He had used up 70 to 80% of his divine power. On the other hand, Chen Junlin was still strong. Chen Junlin wiped his mouth. "I'm not praising you, but you are the first person below the divine king level to fight with me like this." Suddenly, a divine king outside the star pagoda seemed to have sensed something, and his expression changed greatly. "Not good. Young master, quickly leave the extermination star sea." This cold shout was like a clap of thunder. Just as he finished speaking, the entire extermination star sea was like boiling water. The star sand jumped violently, and the light trembled. It suddenly became violent. The star sand gathered. Chen Junlin and the divine lion were bewildered as they looked around. Lin Chen, who was panting, grinned. "Have you sensed it? We are already in the extermination star sea. Don't even think about leaving." Chapter 2096. At this moment, the entire sky was filled with the extermination star sea. The two of them had already fought from the celestial star domain to the extermination star sea, where the energy was the most violent. The entire extermination star sea was like boiling water. The star sand trembled and jumped, suddenly becoming violent. Starlight shot out in all directions like a sea of golden sand. The extermination star sea spun in the void, shooting out a beam of golden light that could tear gods apart. In the vast sea of stars, every star was radiating intense and violent energy, which was condensed into star sand and shot out. Even godly kings did not dare to approach. If a large number of them were sucked in, they would die in an extremely short time. Not good. Young master, quickly leave the extermination star sea. As soon as the God King's voice fell, rumble. Suddenly, a brilliant and vast vortex of stars appeared above Lin Chen, and it covered the surroundings while ceaselessly expanding to envelop the entire universe of stars. The power of the stars started to flow into Lin Chen's body. The star laws and divine power in Tai space started to surge, like a dried-up kettle being filled with water. It even started to break through to a whole new level. One of the stars in the vortex shone especially brightly. Through the vortex's rotation, it finally absorbed the divine power of the star sea. "What?" Chen Junlin was stunned, then his expression changed. "This lunatic is actually refining the extermination star sea's energy? What kind of ridiculous joke was this? Even a peak 5th stage godly king would not dare to absorb the extermination star sea's violent nature. Even a godly king's divine body was the weakest part of his body. Who would dare to easily absorb this energy that could tear a godly king apart? What right did Lin Chen have to refine the power of the star sea? The violent nature of the energy was far from enough for ordinary star laws to absorb. Even if he could absorb a small portion, the violent nature of the star sand would destroy his divine body, and he would be doomed. Ordinary star laws would not be able to absorb the energy here, but Lin Chen's cosmic blue could give it a try. I made the right bet. I can refine the extermination star sea's energy with my star ocean blue. That's right. Before Lin Chen had grasped the laws of the stars, His star ocean blue had yet to reach the perfection stage. After comprehending the law of stars, the star ocean azure sea, a supplementary crimson grade secret manual, finally reached the power it should have. However, to Lin Chen, it was far more than that. Firstly, due to Lin Chen's uniqueness, Lin Chen was able to unleash 10 times the power of the law of stars. Secondly, before he grasped the law of the stars, he hadn't fully cultivated the azure star ocean technique. Now that he had fully cultivated it, he could obtain a 670% increase in the effects of strengthening plus 17. With 10 times the power of the star laws and 6 times the power of the crimson rank cultivation method, Lin Chen had fought with his life on the line. He had truly won. The destructive starlight blew over like a hurricane. Lin Chen opened his arms and wantonly absorbed them into the blue sea of stars. When the dense starlight of extinction shot towards Lin Chen, the starlight of extinction around Lin Chen drew closer to him, shooting towards him along the way. Clang! 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 Chen Junlin was forced to brandish his spear to block. The divine spear bounced off the starlight, and golden sand burst out. He wanted to escape, but even more starlight of extinction surrounded him and the primordial divine lion. The primordial divine lion opened its mouth and roared. Divine flames shot out in all directions. Fire suppressed metal, and it barely managed to stabilize its formation. However, from time to time, the starlight of extinction would pierce through its defenses. However, Lin Chen's Dragon King seemed to be all-pervasive. It accurately predicted the trajectory of every starlight of extinction. After a few swings, it arrived in front of the primordial divine lion and waved its claws. Time and space froze. Chi! 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 The primordial divine lion, whose fur was torn and blood splattered, screamed. Its flesh was split open, and its divine blood was swallowed by the Dragon King. Damned ancient time Ian Dragon! If you have the guts, let's fight head-on! The primordial divine lion screamed in anger. The starlight of extinction surrounding it increased. It had to resist the starlight of extinction and also face Lin Chen's Dragon King. Even with its strength comparable to a fourth Heaven God King, it was suppressed. Not good. Quick, save the young master. If you don't save him, something will happen. Don't King care about winning or losing face. His head is more important. All the God Kings immediately rushed into the starry sea of extinction. The violent starlight of extinction shot out randomly, forcing the God Kings to be unable to get close to Chen Junlin. Lin Chen couldn't control the starry sea of extinction, but he could use his technique to draw the starlight of extinction closer to him. This was the reason why he wanted to pull Chen Junlin into the starry sea of extinction. Half of the factors that determine victory have been satisfied. The other half will depend on them. Lin Chen looked into the distance with his divine soul. He looked outside the celestial star field. On the battlefield of the celestial star field, dozens of celestial bodies linked together to form a defensive line. The sky was filled with the flames of war, and it was full of fallen true gods. 5 teams attacked from 5 different positions. The route they took was very tragic. It was as if they were using their flesh and blood to carve out a path. Even with the help of Lin Chen's phantom doppelgangers, the situation of the celestial star field's outer and inner lines was still very difficult. If they couldn't open a gap on both sides, the celestial star field would never be breached. After all, there were 130,000 true gods here. In the past, everyone had relied on blitzkrieg and mobile warfare to fight against 10 enemies. Now that they were fighting a tough battle, everyone's weakness was their enemy's advantage in terms of cultivation and numbers. Starlight overflowed, and divine light soared into the sky. Tens of thousands of feet of starlight danced and intertwined, nourished by the starry sea vortex above Lin Chen's head. Lin Chen instantly felt that soul society was enlightened. His divine soul was transparent, and he understood the essence of the starlight of extinction. This realm, could it be? Lin Chen was overjoyed. Congratulations, host. You have comprehended the cosmic transformation realm of star laws. With a single thought, he could refine the starry sea of extinction at 10 times the speed before. He could even control the trajectory of a small portion of the starlight of extinction. Hold on for a little longer. He's almost done refining the starlight of extinction nearby. Calm down. This child can only refine a small portion of the starlight of extinction. He can't control the entire starry sea. The God Kings used their ultimate technique. They killed their way through the dazzling starlight of extinction. They were less than 100 miles away from reaching Qin Junlin. Qin Junlin growled, "Three-dimensional humans, using such despicable tricks, King despicable things." Lin Chen didn't care. You're calling me despicable on a battlefield where we're risking our lives? Why don't you say that you reincarnated into a good family? How could you have so many tricks up your sleeves? Lin Chen raised his hand and pointed it at Qin Junlin. The blue starlight of the starry sea flickered, and Lin Chen clenched his fist. Rumble! The starry sea of extinction, which had been occupying the periphery of the celestial star field, began to move on a large scale for the first time. He can actually control a portion of the starry sea of extinction. Even more starlight of extinction is approaching. I'm having a mental breakdown. The God Kings were shocked. The Golden War God set instantly disappeared. Violent gales stirred up the starry sea, and divine winds swept across 3,000 miles. Extreme Wind God set activated. All attributes increased by 5,000 times, 6,000 times, 7,000 times. Activating secondary equipment, Wind God Bao's second form. Added characteristic, absolute hit. The Wind God wings flapped and divine winds howled. Lin Chen drew the crescent-shaped Extreme Wind God Bao. Don't worry. My star arrow will guide you on the road to the underworld. Lin Chen's smile was especially cold. Consuming 90 divine tier strengthening point. Beginning to strengthen red tier arrow art, Yellow Springs Tai Bao. The moment the Wind God Bao aimed at him, Qin Junlin's hair stood on end. He felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. It was as if some sharp weapon was aimed at his divine spirit. Qin Junlin's pupils constricted, revealing a rare look of fear. There's something wrong with this divine Bao. Chapter 2097. Celestial Star Zone, Northern and Southern Battlefields. Xue Jianming led his men to take a detour and ambush the group that was fighting with Shangguan Yun's group in front of them. Brother Xue, there are too many enemies. I'm afraid we can't get through. Two young men who were fighting a bloody battle sent a voice transmission, their eyes filled with unyielding fighting spirit. Even if I can't, I still have to wear it. Xue Jianming's brows were sharp. If we can't get through and complete the encirclement, the third team will be wiped out. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 3 heaven-covering divine palms pressed down. Xue Jianming slashed with his sword, breaking the 3 divine palms and breaking through the enemy's defense line once again. Everyone, if we can't get through, we can only prepare for the worst. Xue Jianming's eyes were filled with determination. We have to cover at least 300 people. As for the rest, we'll use our lives to open a path for them. I don't have much divine power left. I'll attract their attention later. You guys retreat. I'll self-destruct my divine body, nomological laws, and divine soul. You guys take the opportunity to cover more people. Brother Xue. No. Captain, you can't die. I'll go. Everyone hurriedly sent voice transmissions. Xue Jianming smiled casually as he waved his sword. There's no hierarchy in the team. If I fall, you guys will take my place. The blazing sword light suddenly surged. Intense divine soul fluctuations emerged from Xue Jianming's glabella, and the celestial stars' own true gods surrounding him changed their expressions. This lunatic wants to self-destruct. Back off, don't let him succeed. Boom. At the critical moment, a divine spear pierced through the clouds. It was bathed in vast purple lightning and suddenly descended. It brought along rolling thunder and smashed more than a dozen true gods. Xue Jiaming was stunned. Brother, don't be in such a hurry to self-destruct. A burst of laughter reverberated in the void. A large group of people descended. Their auras were majestic, and their nomological laws soared into the sky. A handsome young man in a blue robe held a divine spear. He had 2 lively fox ears on his head, and his smile was filled with friendliness and enthusiasm. Xue Jiaming instinctively said, "You guys are." The youth opened his arms and gave Xue Jiaming a bear hug. He laughed heartily and said, "Ha ha ha, we're on the same side. Brother, we know of your actions in the God-Fiend Wind region. I, Hui Clan's Li Yong, respect you from the bottom of my heart. Count us in for this battle." Xue Jiaming exclaimed, "You are from the Hui clan?" A lightning-like thought flashed through Xue Jiaming's mind. Lin Chun had once said that there might be external help in this battle. If there was no external help, perhaps this would be the last battle for this team. So that's how it is. The foreign aid that Big Brother Lin Chun was talking about was the Hui clan. They still had to fight this battle. At this moment, almost at the same time, a large number of true gods appeared in various battle circles in the outer perimeter of the Heavenly Star sector. Heavenly Star Field, Southeast Battlefield. The Hui clan's elder June, whose saber was like a dragon's tooth, swept through 100 true gods with a single saber strike, stepped into the air. She was valiant and cold as she opened up the encirclement for Shangguan Yun and the others. With an indifferent expression, Elder June asked, "What about that brat? I don't want to owe him a favor." Shangguan Yun looked at her and smiled knowingly. "He's inside the Star Pagoda." The beautiful woman's eyes flickered as she looked at the Star Pagoda in the Heavenly Star Field and mumbled to herself, "Inside? He actually fought his way inside? Doesn't he know what it means to be inside the Heavenly Star Field? That's where the most detestable prodigy of the God clan is guarding." No, perhaps he knows, and that's why he purposely chose the Star Pagoda. No wonder there's not a single God King outside. The beautiful woman shook her head and laughed. What an unpredictable man. Good, I'll take this opportunity. I've long wanted to overturn the heavens of the Heavenly Star Field. Elder June waved her hand, and a large number of Hui clan warriors appeared. The soldiers of the Heavenly Star Field paled. The Hui clan had actually left their territory? A perfected 9th Heaven Divine warrior flew over and shouted coldly, "June Lanxin, the higher-ups have warned you many times. Why did you leave your territory and invade the Heavenly Star Field?" Elder June's expression was cold. "I just can't stand dogs like you." The divine warrior's mouth twitched, and he said in a low voice, "What did these people offer you? Name a price. As long as you leave with your people, we'll pay you double." "You don't have the right to give us this reward." "What? They gave us their trust." Elder June pointed her saber at the Star Pagoda and smiled beautifully. "Is your deity realm able to afford such a reward?" The God Kings in the Starry Sea of Extermination were completely dumbfounded. What is this divine artifact of his? This old man is at the 3rd level of the Divine King Realm. Even with the origin laws of the Divine King Realm, I can barely predict his movements. No, it's not that simple. It's not just his movement speed that's fast, it's also the speed at which he refines the Starry Sea of Extermination. We're surrounded by even more Starry Sea of Extermination. We can't even protect ourselves now, let alone save the young master. The God Kings in the Starry Sea of Extermination were completely flustered. The extreme wind god set increased the speed of all attributes, including the efficiency of the cultivation technique. The Starry Sea of Extermination that Lin Chun had refined was just the tip of the iceberg. The entire starry sea of extermination had become the eastern line of defense of the heaven star domain. What if he refined all the starry sea of extermination here? The origin source law would definitely become one of Lin Chen's main sources of power. Qi. A strand of divine wind wrapped around the starry sea of extermination, and the starry sea of extermination was so fast that Chen Junlin could not react in time. When the starry sea of extermination hit the divine mirror's protective shield, Chen Junlin was pushed back by the arrow, and dazzling starry sea of extermination exploded around him. Damn it, how can this kid be so fast? As Chen Junlin cursed, he felt an intense tearing in the depths of his divine soul. He immediately exclaimed in shock, "This arrow actually burned my divine soul?" With his divine soul injured, Chen Junlin's senses were limited, but Lin Chen's arrows were like a storm. I want to see how hard this tortoise shell can be under absolute hit. If I can't shoot through it, I'm not Lin Chen. Some of his arrows were blue, some were yellow, and they were surrounded by the origin source laws of thunder, fire, wind, and star. They shot toward his opponent in the blink of an eye. These were the two moves of the Yellow Springs Tai Bao, the Soul Shatter and the Yellow Springs move. One arrow to break the divine soul, one arrow to break the divine body. The strength of this crimson rank Bao was that it had a way to deal with different enemies. When it was released with the extreme wind god's extreme speed, its power increased exponentially. A golden dragon eye flashed between Chen Junlin's eyebrows. As if it had automatically sensed danger, it actually dodged Lin Chen's two starry sea of extermination. Chen Junlin roared, "Lin Chen, you want to play with your life, right? This young master will play with you to the end." Karma Heavenly Fate Eye. It was made from the Heavenly Fate Ancient Dragon's Eye, and it was one of the god race's great abilities. He exposed another life-saving trump card, but facing Lin Chen, Chen Junlin had no choice but to use it. The extermination star sea was like a receding tide, ushering in a rare decrease for the first time in history. Lin Chen's Tai space was full of divine power, and it was about to break through to a new realm. Host is about to reach the 6th tier of the divine realm. Host is about to meet the prerequisites for the activation of the Heavenly Dao Species Collecting System version 10.0. Chapter 2098. Dead Silence. He drew the bow and shot out a divine light. The divine stars twinkled like a dragon dancing in the sky, emitting a heavenly might that could shatter the laws. The divine kings in the extinct star sea were shocked. Lin Chen's archery skill seemed to be specialized in restraining the laws. Soul-shattering, Yellow Springs, Dead Silence. Soul-shattering, the azure arrow light was accompanied by ghostly shadows. Body-breaking, a huge white whale swooping out of the sea of stars. Rule-breaking, a dragon dancing in the sky. 3 perfectly stacked, instant light-splitting shadows. Whoosh! The 3 arrows were so fast that Chen Junlin couldn't see them clearly. He could only use his Karma Heavenly Fate Eye to predict the trajectory of the arrows. The flaming clouds under the lion's claws drifted away. The divine lion carried Chen Junlin and dodged together. Whoosh! 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 However, the strange thing was that the 3-star arrows turned from the dimensional vacuum and shot back at Chen Junlin, forcing him to retaliate with his spear. Where did this brat get so many tricks from? I can't even dodge them? Chen Junlin was furious. His divine blood burned, and a huge shadow appeared above his head. He waved the azure divine spear and swept away the extinct starlight, taking the initiative to attack Lin Chen. Bang! 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 The arrow light exploded, and Chen Junlin and the divine lion retreated. After being strengthened and buffed by the extreme wind god set, as well as Wu's split light, Lin Chen's Yellow Springs Tai Bao was able to unleash a power that surpassed that of a normal red-grade martial art. To Chen Junlin, powerful attacks weren't scary. Attacks that were so fast that he couldn't react or dodge were nightmares. Not to mention that he was still in the extinct star sea. The divine wind beneath Lin Chen's feet intensified, the wind god's wings flickered, Lin Chen continued to fire arrows as his god force surged endlessly. If 10 arrows aren't enough, I'll shoot 100 arrows. If 100 arrows aren't enough, I'll shoot 10,000 arrows. Lin Chen's eyes were full of determination. The speed of all his attributes increased by 9,000 times, and he was as fast as a beam of divine light. Every time he moved, he would shoot out a rain of arrows, making it impossible for the opponent to defend against. He was not afraid of exhausting his divine power in this battle at all. The extermination star sea was his source of energy. The Dragon King was like a mysterious ancient dragon that shuttled through the void. Every time he moved his dragon body and swung his dragon claws, he broke through the primordial divine lion's defenses again and again. Host has obtained 80 billion divine level vitality points, 45 billion divine level vitality points, 90 million divine level heavenly Tao points, 85 million divine level fire energy points. Every time the Dragon King attacked the primordial celestial lion, he would devour its vitality, and the vitality attributes that were lost would all belong to Lin Chen. The divine lion's flesh and blood were refined by the Dragon King, while the qi and blood belonged to Lin Chen. One man and one dragon, after this battle, obtained astonishing transformations. Seeing that Lin Chen's divine power was being replenished rapidly, Chen Junlin finally judged the final situation. It was time for him to gamble his life. At this moment, Chen Junlin had no choice but to agree. This three-dimensional human, Lin Chen, was actually an existence that stood on the same level as the 10 heavens of the celestial race. Other than those 10, no one of the celestial race's monsters of the same generation could be more outstanding than him. In time, if he approached the level of those 10, Lin Chen would definitely be one of the top 10 in the celestial world. Rumble! The primordial divine lion roared into the sky. 10 pillars of divine flame erupted, supporting the extinction starlight and burning away the violent energy in the starlight. The divine lion also realized that it was time to gamble his life. If they did not kill Lin Chen and the primordial cosmic dragon, they would definitely not be able to escape the extinction star sea. Other than the battle when I became a celestial, this is the second time I have to gamble my life in a battle. I didn't expect such a monster to be born outside the celestial race. Chen Junlin's eyes were deep. The supreme-grade divine spear in his hand, Cosmic Dragon, throbbed with blood-red lightning. The thunder law of the celestial realm was even close to the peak of the celestial realm. Lin Chen's expression was solemn. This guy was still holding back. Suddenly, the primordial divine lion roared. He's so fast. What if we can't hit him? Chen Junlin smiled evilly. That's impossible. You should know who my great-grandfather is. With a large enough area of attack, he has no chance of dodging. Rumble! Blood-colored divine lightning soared into the sky, like countless dragons converging together. When the bright flashes of lightning converged on the spear, Lin Chen's hair instantly stood on end. What is that? A deathly silence and a sense of suffocation choked Lin Chen. The soul fire hidden behind Lin Chen flickered faintly, about to burst out. Lin Chen, I'll show you the peak of the celestial race. Holding the spear with one hand, a supreme divine shadow rose above Chen Junlin's head. The divine shadow opened the four-dimensional universe as if it was close to the origin of the progenitor realm. It was formed from Chen Junlin's bloodline, and it gave him a great boost. Divine tribulation. The next moment, Chen Junlin swung the spear. The moment the spear tip cut through the void, a large area of blood-red lightning flashed in the four-dimensional space. From afar, the blood-red lightning marks covered the sky like thick tree root. The aura of destruction seeped out and swept toward Lin Chen. The attack range was too large. Even part of the extinct star sea was swept away. Lin Chen had no place to dodge at all. Rumble! In a 10,000th of a breath, Lin Chen didn't use his bow. His palm was filled with the power of God's attraction. Lin Chen struck. This God-summoning barrier had directly depleted 90% of Lin Chen's deity-level heavenly Tao points. Bang! The God's attraction barrier was activated. In less than a tenth of a breath, it was crushed by the blood-red lightning. Retreating quickly, Lin Chen's palms lit up with 9-colored starlight. 2 9-tribulation stars were thrown out, and Lin Chen's divine power dropped sharply. 2 9-tribulation stars. This was almost all that Lin Chen could gather with his current divine power and laws. 10 streaks of 9-colored starlight fell at a speed thousands of times faster. Before they exploded, they were destroyed by the blood-red lightning. Ultimate Wind God Armor Set removed. Host used 4 pieces of Atlas Set. 4 pieces charged, 100%. Special feature, Absolute Defense. Lightning flashed, and the indestructible pitch-black divine light on Lin Chen's body disappeared instantly. Atlas Set charged. Remaining, 0%. A wisp of azure dragon light flashed past. Time seemed to stop in the small space around Lin Chen. Just as the blood-red lightning was about to break through the Atlas Set's defense, he disappeared like a flickering star. Rumble! Bang! 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 The next moment, the blood-red lightning exploded, causing a second impact. The explosion caused the energy in the extinct star sea to leak everywhere. 1/3 of the extinct star sea was thrown into the sky, and the star sand trembled. He's dead? Chen Junlin's expression changed slightly. No. Rumble. When the Azure Taijo divine light appeared out of nowhere, a golden figure rushed out and tore apart the primordial divine lion's flames. The primordial divine lion was about to protect its master when the Dragon King pounced out of the void and entangled the divine lion's divine body. He actually dodged it? While Chen Junlin was shocked, he swung his spear to block, and Lin Chen raised his battle god spear to the sky. Clang! Terrifying divine power exploded, and the 2 divine spears flew out at the same time. Lin Chen didn't use his spear. Divine light flashed, and pure energy gathered crazily as he punched Chen Junlin's protective divine mirror. Crack! The divine mirror shattered, and the heavenly Lord divine mirror that had been protecting him finally cracked. Die for this, Daddy! Another punch was thrown out, and Lin Chen's eyes were filled with a desperate killing intent. Chapter 2099. After hitting Chen Junlin, Lin Chen did not stop at all. Instead, he continued to punch him like a madman. His shining golden fists were surrounded by all the laws he had mastered. Together with the golden war god Set's extreme strength, every punch landed on Chen Junlin's body. Bang! 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 No! Chen Junlin screamed. Just as he was about to abandon his divine body and escape, Lin Chen's palm landed on his head. A destructive force that could devour billions of lives crazily absorbed all of Chen Junlin's cultivation, bloodline, and divine soul. What? Chen Junlin was shocked. He has the devouring law? Host used remaining divine heavenly Tao points to activate divine spark fragment, annihilation. Extracting target's blood essence, divine soul, cultivation, laws, and divine power. Obtained large amounts of divine blood essence, obtained large amounts of divine spirit, obtained large amounts of lightning, wind, and darkness attributes. Everything in Chen Junlin's body was flowing away. His cultivation, realm, divine soul, and consciousness seemed to be swallowed into a destructive alternate dimension and was about to be destroyed. No. How can this be? Grandfather, save me! Chen Junlin screamed crazily. Finally, he turned into nothing, turning into a sea of attribute light balls and dozens of attribute treasure chests. Divine world, divine realm. Junlin's bloodline has disappeared. Sitting at the head of the hall was a black-robed man. His face was sharp, cold, and ruthless. His deep eyes seemed to hide some kind of giant beast, making one's heart tremble. He looks like someone wants to kill my Chen family. Send my secret order. Send a spy to the divine wilderness star region to investigate. In the secret realm where the divine tree was hidden, one of the three consciousnesses in the vast sky suddenly awakened. My Chen family's bloodline is showing signs of dying. That Supreme will seem to have seen through the four-dimensional universe as its gaze fell upon the vast and boundless divine wilderness star region. The divine wilderness star region? The killer seems to be someone who also cultivates the Tai Sky technique. Could it be those good-for-nothings? No, they don't have the guts or ability. Could it be that kid? The Supreme Consciousness did not care too much. After a moment, it slowly closed its eyes. Forget it. He's just a junior. If he dies, he dies. If he becomes a primogenitor, he won't have to worry about not having descendants. In the extermination star sea of the heavenly star domain, the 20 divine kings looked as if they had seen a ghost. Their teeth were chattering. It's over, the young master is gone. Lin Chen, who was standing in the air, was covered in blood and gasping for breath. He didn't even have the strength to help the War Dragon King. His God-tier heavenly path points had been depleted to 0. Even the immortal Godhead could not heal him. Lin Chen's eyes were still filled with disbelief and shock. It was too shocking. The divine race's geniuses were actually powerful to such an extent. Compared to ordinary divine kings, they were two completely different life forms. I almost made the wrong bet. I didn't expect the geniuses of the God race to be this strong. Although he had won, Lin Chen's eyes flashed with a rare trace of fear. If Lin Chen had chosen to use the Extreme Wind God set or the Golden Battle God set, he would have died for sure. Lin Chen's God summoning barrier and double 9 tribulations stars couldn't even last a second against Qin Junlin's final spear strike. His sky-raising God set's 4-piece Heavenly Path divine armor had been instantly charged, and this was under the premise that a portion of its power was limited by the large amount of starlight from the extermination star sea. If not for the previous moves delaying the time slightly, allowing the Dragon King to avoid that spear strike with the War Dragon King's cosmic flash, the one dead would be Lin Chen. Similarly, if Lin Chen hadn't lured Qin Junlin into the extermination star sea and instead fought him in the heavenly star domain, Lin Chen would have almost no chance of winning. If crossing the realm sea 3 times was the team's greatest danger, then attacking heavenly star domain's Qin Junlin was Lin Chen's greatest personal danger. Enjoying the top resources of the human civilization, cultivating the best cultivation methods, and possessing the strongest background, these are the geniuses cultivated by the God clan. A tall mountain seemed to appear in Lin Chen's heart. There was another group of geniuses like this in the 3 divine races. Perhaps not many, but not few either. Above him, there were still the 10 great geniuses of the divine world. In just a moment, Lin Chen shattered all the negative emotions. Even the number 1 in the heavenly realm couldn't stop Lin Chen from advancing. The geniuses of the 3 divine races couldn't stop him either. Circulating his mental cultivation technique, a large amount of attribute light balls entered Lin Chen's body. Obtained 36 divine strengthening points, 32 billion divine rune energy, 32 million divine heavens path points, 780 billion divine essence, 725 billion divine chi, 98. 5 million dark energy. After his divine heaven's path points were replenished, he immediately activated the immortal Godhead to heal himself. At that moment, the attribute treasure chests that fell in front of Lin Chen were the most he had ever seen. Some were filled with crimson light, some were dazzling with 5 lights, some were unprecedentedly burning with 5 flames, some were beautiful and magnificent, and some were ordinary but seemed to hide a hidden world. The dazzling array almost blinded Lin Chen's eyes. Open Talent Attribute Treasure Chest. Host obtained Crimson Talent Fragment, 3/20. Open Talent Attribute Treasure Chest. Host obtained Crimson Talent Fragment, 4/20. Open Talent Attribute Treasure Chest. Host obtained Crimson Talent Fragment, 5/20. Open Talent Attribute Treasure Chest. Host obtained Crimson Talent Fragment, 6/20. Open Divine Soul Treasure Chest. Host obtained 1 trillion Divine Spiritual Energy. Open Talent Attribute Treasure Chest. Host obtained 150 billion Divine Talent Points. Opened Heavenly Tao Treasure Chest. Host obtained 100 billion Divine Heavens Path Points. Opened Divinity Treasure Chest. Host obtained Divinity Fragment Annihilation 2/3. Opened Set Attribute Treasure Chest. Host obtained Atlas God Equipment Left Greaves. Opened Attribute Law Treasure Chest. Host obtained Lightning Seed. Opened Attribute Law Treasure Chest. Host obtained Darkness Seed. Received Supreme Law Treasure Chest. Note: this treasure chest will randomly open attribute treasures related to the 10 Great Laws. Opened God Race Exclusive Treasure Chest. Host obtained Mid-Crimson Cultivation Technique, Divine Tribulation. This was an unprecedented harvest. Vast and majestic attributes were refined into Lin Chen's body. The injuries and exhaustion in his body began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. Divine Dragon, return! With a thought, Lin Chen recalled the Dragon King, who was covered in wounds. He looked down at the panicking Divine Lion beneath his feet and activated Star Ocean Azure once again. Boom! Large amounts of destructive starlight shot over. Some were refined by Lin Chen, while some passed through the primordial Divine Lion. It could only rely on its injured body to withstand all the destructive starlight. The primordial Divine Lion's flesh was torn open by the starlight, and its vitality dropped. It howled in pain. "Human, I'm willing to submit to you. Please have mercy." Lin Chen said calmly, "I haven't seen a Divine Beast Core equivalent to a 4th Heaven God King. It's time to broaden my horizons today." Chapter 2100. Broaden my horizons? Damn it, is this human language? The primordial Divine Lion said in shock. No, I still have many hidden spatial coordinates. I'll give them all to you. I guarantee you can become a godly monarch. I'm still willing to be your servant. Let me go. Although the primordial Divine Lion was powerful, it had already given up its pride as a Divine Lion. If it were those Dragon Kings in the Realm Sea, they would rather die than submit. Lin Chen ignored its pleas and continued to refine the Star Sea of Extinction. The godly monarchs outside were the same. When Lin Chen started to refine the Star Sea of Extinction again, they had no way out. They could only resist like sheep in a pen, unable to escape. Buzz. His god soul, which was as deep as the sea, exploded from Lin Chen's glabella. The power of his god soul was like a full pond, rushing to a new level. Host has reached the greater success stage of the Divine Soul realm. Then, as if it was the precursor of a violent storm, Lin Chen's cultivation realm began to break through like a hot knife through butter, continuously charging towards a new peak. Congratulations, Host, for reaching the early stage of Stage 6 of the Divine Realm. Host has reached the prerequisite of activating the Heavenly Tao Member Collecting System version 10.0. Please open the system to check. Rumble. Thunder rumbled, and the dragon's roar resounded throughout the heavenly star field. An increasingly terrifying aura was brewing in the heavenly star field, causing countless experts to feel extraordinary pressure. It was not over yet. The aura of Lin Chen's breakthrough this time was far stronger than when he had just arrived at the Divine Wilderness star field. The wind howled and golden rain fell. Almost at the same time, the heavenly star field welcomed 2 waves of breakthroughs. The golden rain that nourished the earth fell on the heavenly star field, shocking countless experts. It was the phenomenon of a godly monarch. The phenomenon of a godly monarch? Damn it, what's going on with this team? Their leader is already so terrifying after breaking through to stage 6 of the divine realm, but there are still people breaking through to the godly monarch realm in battle? It's the internal battle situation. Someone among them has become a godly monarch. The morale of the heavenly star field plummeted again. On the other hand, the morale of the Hui clan and the 5 teams soared. It was Shun Lingshuang and Yi Qingguo. The latter had used Yi Hongming's divine pill to step into the God King stage, while Shun Lingshuang had comprehended a new set of laws during this battle, using it to break through to the God King stage. Not only had his innate potential been stimulated to the extreme, it had also been brought to a new peak. However, the extermination star C once again exploded with an earth-shaking divine power fluctuation. Congratulations to the host for advancing to the middle stage of the 6th tier of the divine realm. Waves after waves of divine power washed over Lin Chen's body, and he finally reached the peak of the middle stage of the 6th tier of the divine realm. Only then did the realm of divine power slowly come to a stop. However, everything else was still going on at a terrifying speed. Above Lin Chen's head was a starlight vortex. Beneath his feet was boundless golden light. He was like a god descending to the mortal world. His aura was rising steadily. Following that, 2 types of laws appeared on the left and right sides of his body, and they slowly rotated like the eyes of an acupoint. 1 lightning, 1 star. The host has refined the seed of law of thunder and comprehended the divine realm's law of thunder. The host has refined 1/4 of the extermination star C. You have comprehended the laws of stars of the divine realm. Thundering star tremor. An intense energy fluctuation was transmitted out. It was as if the heavenly star domain had welcomed a new master. The speed at which Lin Chen absorbed the extermination starlight increased by more than 10 times. Lin Chen had completely stepped into a whole new realm. The pupils of the 20 God Kings constricted, and they were instantly dumbfounded. What the F***CK, is he still human? He actually comprehended 2 types of divine realm laws in such a short time? This is freaking called the 6th tier of the divine realm? Even the most top-notch God Kings can't do that. He's only at the 6th tier of the divine realm, but the divine realm laws he comprehended are actually slightly stronger than ours? The 20 God Kings were shocked. Even those as strong as they had served the God race for many years had never seen such a scene. The few God Kings exchanged glances. They seemed to have made up their minds. Their divine bodies suddenly erupted with divine light, and they charged toward the extermination starlight in the periphery without a care for anything else. Rumble. Bang. 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 One after another, God Kings self-destructed, shaking half of the heavenly star domain. The extermination starlight that filled the sky was blasted apart, like beautiful fireworks surging under the nebula. Lin Chen was surprised. This group of God Kings actually self-destructed. No, to be precise, it should be that nearly half of them self-destructed. The remaining half led the divine souls that chose to self-destruct and charged toward the periphery. Although the surviving God Kings were severely injured, they still charged out in the end, sacrificing their divine bodies to create an opportunity with self-destruction? As expected of a bunch of old foxes. Ruthless enough. Before Lin Chen could make a move, they had already retreated. Although Lin Chen could choose to use the extreme wind god set to pursue this group of God Kings, he still had a more important target right now, and that was the primordial divine lion under his feet. This primordial divine lion was an existence equivalent to a 4th heaven God King. If not for pulling it into the extermination star sea, the price to kill it would probably be second only to facing Chen Junlin. If he could kill it, the blood essence he obtained would be able to make up for Lin Chen's weakness in body tempering. It would be more beneficial to the divine dragon's growth. The primordial divine lion was surrounded by the extermination starlight. Large patches of extermination starlight were like blades slicing through its flesh. It was in a different position from the 20 God Kings. It was in the center, especially when the Dragon King was still holding it. Every time it wanted to self-destruct, it would use the Grand Universe Domain Claw to interrupt its blood essence. It could not self-destruct even if it wanted to. 1. A wisp of dark mist-like nomological laws rose from Lin Chen's palm. A ball of darkness god power was added to the Tai space. Host has refined the seed of darkness laws. Host has comprehended the laws of darkness. He had comprehended a new law again. Fire, thunder, star, wind, and darkness. These were the 5 laws that Lin Chen had comprehended at the moment. Lin Chen immediately activated the illusion runes. Consumed 140 billion runes of energy. Illusion doppelganger synchronized with Host's current cultivation realm. In order to suppress the primordial divine lion, although Lin Chen could not leave the extermination star sea to assist the team outside, he could at least let the illusion doppelganger synchronize with the Host's cultivation realm. The current Lin Chen's battle prowess was several levels higher than before. In a one-on-one battle, the illusion doppelganger was not weaker than a second heaven god king. It could also prevent the escaping god king from coming back. With a thought, Lin Chen opened the system. Heavenly Way Attribute Picking System version 9.0 Host. Lin Chen. Cultivation, Mid-Stage 6 Divine Realm. Divine Essence, 954 trillion. Limit, 30. 45 million Desolate Power, Flesh Shell Awakening plus 700%. Divine Chi, 150 trillion. Divine Spiritual Power, 8,420 billion. Divine Soul Great Success Stage, Divine Cultivation Technique Soul Essence, 5,540 billion. Divine Runes of Energy, 3,950 billion. Divine Heaven's Path Points, 189. 8 billion. Divine Talent Points, 209. 9 billion. Peak Set Essence, 312 points. God Level Strengthening Points, 1,541. Divine Attributes. Set Column. Ultimate Golden War God Set Recharge, 60%. Ultimate Wind God Set Recharge, 31%. Skyscraper Set, 100%. Talent Column, usable in 4 dimensions, Extreme God Possession, Split Shadow, God Slayer, Cooldown, God Defiant, Cooldown, Ultimate Heaven Defying, Cooldown, Crimson Fragment, 6/20. Special Attribute Treasure. Supreme Law Treasure Chest, Mid-Crimson Cultivation Technique, Divine Tribulation. Divine Attribute Column. Divine Elephant Divinity, Undying Divinity, God's Guide Divinity, Azura's Nemesis Divinity Fragment, 5/6, Annihilation Divinity Fragment, 2/3. Activation of Heavenly Way Attribute Picking System version 10.0 Condition. Kill more than 10 God Lord level beings, Divine Heaven's Path Points, 1 trillion. Divine Cultivation Technique Soul Essence, 10 trillion. Heavenly Way Attribute Picking System version 10.0 Function. Activating the Law Attribute Function. Host can obtain the corresponding attribute and control the law faster. Activating the Divine Body Function. Host can forge the Supreme Divine Body and refine the body faster, breaking through the limits of life. After a rough look, Lin Chen's gaze landed on the Supreme Law Treasure Chest. This attribute treasure chest would randomly produce the top 10 law treasures among the 3,000 law treasures. Chapter 2101. Supreme Law Treasure Chest. This item could be said to be the best attribute treasure chest obtained after killing Qin Junlin. Although the other Godhead fragments were precious, they were not as attractive as this one. Comprehending just one of the top 10 great Tao laws was enough to suppress countless geniuses of the same generation. For example, the number 1 fortune teller of the divine world used the law of karma and could even revive Lin Xingqian. Each of the top 10 laws was especially heaven-defying. I wonder what kind of surprise this treasure chest will bring me. After opening the attribute treasure chest, a fist-sized crystal fragment appeared in Lin Chen's mind. It was colorful and magnificent, like a beautiful galaxy jade with 5 types of energy hidden within. Host has opened the Supreme Law treasure chest. Obtained 3,000 Great Tao, 5 Elemental Law Seed Fragment, 1/2. Lin Chen was stunned. 5 Elemental Law? 3,000 Great Tao, 5 Elemental Law. It is the origin of all things and one of the sources of creation. Those who comprehend the 5 elemental law can reverse the 5 elements and possess the power of creation. The metal element is indestructible and extremely sharp. The wood element is full of life and gives life to all things. The water element has a long history and is the source of power. The fire element is eternal and can refine billions of flames. The earth element can guide the galaxy and assimilate all earth-type divine power. If the host refines the complete 5 elemental law seed, he can control the 5 elemental law. If the host comprehends one of the 5 elemental law, he can control the 5 elemental law and assimilate the highest attainment of the 5 elemental law. Lin Chen couldn't help but gasp. Assimilate the 5 elemental law. This meant that if Lin Chen refined the 5 elemental law seed, not only would he be able to control the top 10 Great Tao laws, but he would also be able to assimilate the highest attainment of the 5 elemental law. It was equivalent to possessing the fire element law of the divine realm. After refining the 5 elemental law seed, not only would Lin Chen obtain the other 4 laws, but these 4 laws would also borrow the 5 elemental law to reach the same realm as the fire element law. It was equivalent to gaining 4 divine realm laws out of thin air. If one of Lin Chen's laws stepped into the heavenly hellish realm, it would be equivalent to 5 of the 5 elemental laws stepping into the heavenly hellish realm. As expected of one of the top 10 laws. As expected, none of them can be compared to ordinary laws. If I can obtain another fragment, my battle prowess will rise by another 3 levels. Lin Chen gasped in amazement. Moreover, the 5 elemental laws were not only superior in terms of the number of laws and the synchronization of the laws. 5 laws, 5 elements combined into one. The effect obtained far surpassed the amplification of 5 laws combined. Roar! The primordial lion god let out a mournful roar. Human Lin Chen, this king will fight you to the death. This king's clansmen will never let you go. The refining speed of the starlight gradually increased. Lin Chen's expression was cold and indifferent. When you choose the god race, you must be mentally prepared. The majestic chi and blood that burned like bloody flames seemed to want to burn the void, but the Dragon King bit and devoured its flesh again and again. Host has obtained 950 billion divine-level blood points, 390 billion divine-level blood points, 850 billion divine-level blood points. Lin Chen's divine body's pure strength soared. Furthermore, the Dragon King's divine dragon meridians were growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. A divine lion comparable to a 4-heaven god king, unless it was besieged by a group of peak god kings, it was too difficult to kill it. Its flesh and blood were devoured by the Dragon King, and the divine level chi and blood attributes it dropped were rapidly absorbed by Lin Chen. Crimson divine flames burned intensely from Lin Chen's divine body. The incomparably violent divine power was like an unstoppable true dragon, rampaging all the way. This time, Lin Chen's pure strength welcomed an unprecedented surge. From hundreds of thousands of desolate power to millions, tens of millions, until it broke through 100 million. It was not over yet. System, I want to awaken the highest stage of the flesh shell, consuming 1 billion divine-level heavenly Tao point. Beginning awakening the 8th stage of the flesh shell, consuming 10 billion divine-level heavenly Tao points. Beginning awakening the 9th stage of the flesh shell, consuming 100 billion divine-level heavenly Tao points, beginning awakening the final stage of the flesh shell. Rumble. Lin Chen's qi and blood were strong enough to incinerate mountains and rivers. It had broken through 100 million desolate power. How is this possible? The primordial celestial lion let out a cry of disbelief before it died. Its huge eyes stared fixedly at Lin Chen. It could not believe that a human could reach such a level of qi and blood at such a frightening speed. Qi. The ancient primordial dragon's claws dug into the last inch of the primordial celestial lion's flesh. Its resplendent dragon teeth crushed its divine bones and swallowed everything. Finally, a humongous amber divine beast core floated in the air. There were also 4 attribute treasure chests. Host has opened the Supreme Talent treasure chest. Obtained Crimson Fragment, 7/20. Host has opened the Supreme Talent treasure chest. Obtained Crimson Fragment, 8/20. Host has opened the Divine Level Qi and Blood treasure chest. Obtained 1,000 trillion Divine Level Qi and Blood essence. Host has opened the Heavenly Tao treasure chest. Obtained 30 billion Divine Level Heavenly Tao point. The Dragon King opened his mouth and swallowed the amber divine beast core. Even though he was covered in wounds, his dragon body became even more radiant. Almost at the same moment the primordial celestial lion died, the man and dragon stopped whatever they were doing. They turned into 2 beams of divine light and rushed out of the extinct star sea. 1 man and 1 dragon rushed into the celestial star domain's inner line at the fastest speed possible. Bang! 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 The Dragon King and Lin Chen attacked separately. With the ultimate wind god armor, they broke through the celestial star domain's inner line at the fastest speed possible. Lin Chen shouted, "Quickly, cover the injured and retreat." A green light appeared in his palm, and the ultimate wind god Bao appeared. Many true gods were shocked. Qi. When the sonic boom swept through the starry sky, all the true gods heard it. Their divine bodies were penetrated, and their divine bones were shattered. It's Big Brother Lin Chen. We'll leave this to Big Brother Lin. Let's retreat first. Everyone was overjoyed. They rushed out of the inner line and cooperated with those outside to evacuate the injured. Like a meteor shower that bloomed under the starry sky, a rain of arrows swept through the void with unparalleled speed. It was like a flickering divine light, mixed with the sharp star laws, piercing through thousands of true gods. These star arrows can't be avoided. Will young master keep fighting with such people? It's over. The true gods who disappeared under the arrow light kept wailing. They couldn't escape even if they wanted to. Lin Chen's fingertips left behind afterimages. His fighting spirit was even more violent than before. It was as if he wanted to wipe out all the enemies in the shortest time possible. Even if 1 less of his comrades died, he wanted to use the fastest speed to wipe out the enemies. In about 15 minutes, the entire vast celestial star domain was riddled with holes. Divine remains were everywhere. The people of the Huai clan looked at this scene in a daze. They looked at Lin Chen, who was standing beside the star pagoda, and a sense of reverence arose. If he had used this method in the Huai clan, they wouldn't have been able to trap him even in the God-fiend wind region. At least 50,000 true gods had died at his hands. It was almost a bloodbath in the celestial star domain. He alone had carried half the battle record of a team. Looking at this star domain, the God clan's defense line, which was once said that even divine masters couldn't break through, had been broken through by a team. When the divine wind dissipated and the ultimate wind god retreated, Lin Chen supported himself with 1 hand. His divine soul and divine power seemed to have been exhausted. His pale face was filled with exhaustion. Lin Chen. Zhao Anren flew over and helped Lin Chen up. Lin Chen said, "How many people do we have left?" Zhao Anren immediately said, "Each team has more than 2,000 people left. In total, we have 12,000 people left." If not for the help of the Huai clan, we would have been wiped out even if we won. Lin Chen said in a low voice, "Let everyone rest for 3 days. We need to seize 9 World Mountain as quickly as possible." Zhao Anren's expression changed slightly. 3 days? That's too rushed. Look at how heavily injured you are. Moreover, everyone has paid a great price in this battle. 3 days isn't even enough to recover from your injuries. A divine light flashed in his eyes. Lin Chen looked to the side and said solemnly, "There are only 3 days. There's no time. My bloodline can faintly sense that he has stepped into the God-desolate star domain." Zhao Anren was startled. "Who?" Letting out a heavy breath, Lin Chen said word by word. "Lin Xingqian." Chapter 2102. In the Divine Wilderness Star Region, a ray of starlight shone on the Crimson Continent. Divine light opened up the void. Endless starlight paved a golden path that slowly extended down from the sky. Then, a team descended from the sky. With starlight on their bodies, their aura was domineering and powerful. Saber energy cut through the cloud path. Destructive lightning surged like a sea of thunder. 9 blazing suns appeared when the starlight descended, setting off this team. The true gods who were in seclusion on the Crimson Continent opened their eyes in shock. They released their divine power and activated their laws. Across the stars, they looked at the team in disbelief. That team has the aura of the Divine Realm. The Divine Realm's Sword God King, Lian Baijia, Ro King, Yun Tianqing, and Blue Sea Divine Ruler, Yu Jin. They are all geniuses of the Divine Realm from the previous era, second only to the Divine Realm. Who exactly is it that can lead this team? Hundreds of true gods who were hiding nearby could not help but hold their breath. A young man in white stood at the center of the majestic god squad as they descended. His white clothes were whiter than snow, and he stood with his hands behind his back. His face was cold and arrogant, and his golden eyes seemed to see through everything. They contained a sharp sword light that pierced the sky. It was as if he could see through even one's divine soul. He carried a sword wrapped in 5-colored clouds on his back. It was as if the sky was enshrouded in rainbow light, and the divine light of the universe was hidden within the sword. Even without unsheathing, its sharpness could shake the world. Once it was unsheathed, it was hard to imagine how sharp and peerless the sword would be. As he stepped on the river of stars, the golden-eyed youth's eyes suddenly flickered. He looked into the distance, and a trace of golden light flashed past his eyes. A trace of battle intent rose in his eyes. His bloodline was throbbing. This person was Lin Xingqian. His entire body glowed with sword energy, as if he was releasing divine sword energy at all times. Above his head, there was a faint shadow of a sword god in the shape of a sword being drawn. A beautiful blue-haired lady beside him said in surprise, "Brother Lin? Why are you so eager to battle? Is there an enemy over there?" Lin Xingqian smiled coldly. An old opponent. The blue-haired beauty could not help but be moved. The group of Divine Realm geniuses beside her also had interesting expressions. What kind of person was Lin Xingqian? He was an existence that could challenge all the geniuses in the Divine Realm. There were even many forces who suspected that he was the number 1 genius of the God Realm who had been left behind all those years ago. With his current strength, he was only second to the 10 existences of the God race. Moreover, it was only a matter of time before he stepped into that level of talent. To be able to become his old rival, who exactly was it? The blue-haired beauty couldn't help but ask, other than the God race, who else can be a match for you, big brother Lin? Who is this person? Lin Xingqian threw his head back and laughed. A man who can make me happy. Lin Chen, I'll take your life after we leave Emperor Shi's tomb. The next day, in the Heavenly Star area, the people of the Huai clan saw with their own eyes that the vast and indestructible extermination Star Sea showed signs of disappearing for the first time. It was as if they were witnessing a miracle. Elder June, who was still charming, gazed into the distant sky. When the starlight from billions of years ago once again shone upon the heavenly star domain, she was actually a little dazed. She couldn't help but sigh. Things have changed with the passage of time. A new king has ascended the stage of history. Even the divine masters were unable to solve the problem of the extermination star C, yet he was able to completely cut off its source. That's not right, Elder June, a cold female voice sounded. It was Shangguan Yun. She revealed a rare smile. He's no longer interested in being a king. Here, all living things are equal. After she finished speaking, she threw out 3 jade slips. Elder June reached out and caught them. When she opened the jade slips and read them, she couldn't help but be moved. This is... Shangguan Yun stroked her hair and smiled. This is the elixir recipe collected in the Heavenly Star area. He specially improved some of the recipes for the Huai clan to treat the wounds on the Huai clan's compatriots and the marks left behind by the god race. The Heavenly Star area had a bountiful harvest. From heavenly and earthly treasures to secret realms of medicinal herbs, celestial bodies filled with rare treasures and rare ores, secret manuals of cultivation techniques, divine artifacts, and so on, there was everything. If they only had 3 days to rest, they wouldn't have had enough time to harvest these resources. It was just nice that they could share them equally with the Huai clan. They even decided to give the Heavenly Star area to the Huai clan and make it their second stronghold. However, the storage of divine artifacts was still lacking for Lin Chen. He couldn't be sure if the divine artifacts here could reach the maximum charge of the Golden Battle God set. The more it was charged, the harder it was to increase it. Even if he collected everyone's divine artifacts, there was a high probability that it would reach 100% here. Elder June's expression was complicated. Even someone as arrogant as her couldn't help but bow. Thank Lin Chen for me. This favor is too great for the Huai clan. If the clan leader was here, he would be grateful to him. Shangguan Yun helped her up and said gently, Elder, you're too polite. There's no need to thank us. At this moment, some young people from the Huai clan surrounded them excitedly. Can we join you? Sister, we also want to join you and fight the enemy. The god race has an irreconcilable enmity with us. Today's battle was too satisfying. Please let us join you. Shangguan Yun was stunned. Then, she smiled and said, Of course we welcome you. The extermination starlight gradually dimmed. When the last extermination starlight disappeared, Lin Chen slowly opened his eyes. Congratulations, host, for completely refining the extermination star C. Your star law has reached the advanced stage of the divine realm. Congratulations, host, for advancing to the late stage of the divine realm. Lin Chen's divine body had undergone an earth-shattering change from before. His body tempering had exceeded billions of desolate power. He had finally stepped into the divine king realm. With the enhancement of the awakening stage, it had increased by 10 times. The divine blood essence dropped by the desolate divine lion had helped Lin Chen cross this heaven-shaking chasm. Flesh Shell Awakening Stage 10. Limit 1. 5 billion desolate power. Congratulations, host, for breaking through to the 4th Dragon King realm. This time, Lin Chen welcomed an unprecedented increase. Below the Divine Master level, there were only a handful of people who could threaten him. However, his star law was still very far away from the legendary Heavenly Shell realm. That was comparable to the Heavenly Tao. Only Divine Masters could enter that realm. Although the extermination Starcia's energy was massive, cultivating the Heavenly Realm's laws not only required the same amount of energy, but also required sufficient comprehension. Lin Chen's understanding of the star law was limited to the star ocean blue. He needed to cultivate more star series cultivation technique. Although his strength had increased, Lin Chen no longer had the joy of his youth. His figure flashed and turned into starlight. He landed in a sea of flowers in the heavenly star domain. The scenery here was beautiful. It was so tranquil that it was like a paradise. Thousands of stone tablets were erected here. On them were the names of the people who had sacrificed themselves in the heavenly star domain. Lin Chen looked here and was speechless for a long time. They had entrusted their lives to Lin Chen, who was pursuing this path. They had no regrets. When they sacrificed themselves, they fought until the last trace of their soul dissipated. They pressed forward courageously. The answer that their sacrifice exchanged for will be inherited by us. Chapter 2103. The Heavenly Star Domain has been taken? In the Third Realm Sea, in the Dark Star Sea region, as they gathered with a group of true gods and several god kings, the expressions of the two god lords changed. The Heavenly Star Domain had Qin Junlin of the Qin clan overseeing it and the Extermination Star Sea acting as a natural barrier. Even a god lord might not be able to take it. What method had the other party used to break into the Heavenly Star Domain? If they had such a trump card, why didn't they use it from the start? Or perhaps, the two thought of an extremely terrifying possibility. Or perhaps, they had grown to the point where they could break into the Heavenly Star Domain in such a short time. The most shocking thing was that they had managed to reach the Heavenly Star Domain in such a short time. Did they not even stop to rest after entering the divine desolate star domain? A black-robed god lord said with a gloomy expression, "I didn't expect him to be able to break into the heavenly star domain. Lin Chen, Lin Chen. This lord has truly underestimated him." The other god lord, White Brow, stroked his beard and muttered, "It seems that even if the two of us work together, we might not be able to take him down." The two god lords had extraordinary experience. When they learned that Lin Chen's group could break into the heavenly star domain, they realized that the two of them alone could not guarantee that they could take down Lin Chen. The two god masters looked at each other and thought of the same thing at the same time. Send a message back and inform the upper echelons to have the Qin clan deal with him. If necessary, perhaps we should send the upper echelons above the god emperor level. I didn't expect such a ruthless character to appear outside of the three god clans. This old man dares to say that if we don't kill him now, he will definitely stand at the same height as the 10 great god geniuses of the god world. Let's go. We should also enter the divine desolate star domain. If we can attack this child's group together with the rest of the god race, that would be for the best. The mighty group from the god realm disappeared from the Dark Star Sea region. The battle in the heavenly star domain had alarmed the experts of many star domains. Even the experts of some distant star systems were shaken. The Extermination Star Sea of the heavenly star domain seems to have disappeared. You've trained too much that you're talking in your sleep, right? That's not right. The energy of the Extermination Star Domain. What's going on? Could it be that a powerful divine master has been born? The strange phenomenon in the heavenly star domain shocked many forces. Some experts sent out scouts to investigate the situation in the heavenly star domain. In the heavenly star field, the 6 illusionary doppelgangers sat cross-legged. Blood-red lightning bolts flashed and danced in the sky like a calamity. The phantom doppelganger surrounded the blood lightning and bathed in it. It was refined and condensed into the space between his eyebrows and even his divine soul. Activating attribute transfer function, strengthening target selected by host, speeding up assimilation of cultivation memories, God-tier heavens path points, 1,200,000, consuming God-tier strengthening points. Consumed 195 billion divine-level cultivation technique soul essences. Fusing the cultivation memories of the intermediate red class cultivation technique, divine tribulation. The intermediate red class technique, divine tribulation spear, uses the divine power of the law of thunder to unleash the destructive tribulation thunder. When the divine tribulation thunder spear is unleashed, it will cover a large 4-dimensional area. When it touches the enemy, the divine tribulation thunder will instantly destroy all the vitality of the enemy. Unless the enemy encounters a law of the same level, the attack will not be weakened. Note: divine tribulation will stimulate all the bloodline potential. The bloodline potential of the user will be imbued with the special effect of this spear technique. After the attack, the user will enter a short period of weakness, temporarily unable to use the law of thunder. Divine tribulation. This was the highest grade red class battle technique that Lin Chun had ever trained. This technique was dropped from Chen Junlin, and it was the complete version. As for its power, Lin Chun had personally experienced it. He had used all his schemes and gambled with his life, but he was almost turned around by the opponent's spear. It could be seen how terrifying this spear was. If I can step into the God King realm, this spear technique will definitely surpass that of Chen Junlin. Lin Chun sat cross-legged in the sky above the continent, blood lightning bolts appearing in his palms. His thunder, fire, and star laws were already at the God realm. Furthermore, due to the uniqueness of his mental cultivation technique, they were 10 times stronger than normal God realm laws. If he could step into the God King realm, the divine power of his laws would rise to a whole new level. Lin Chen narrowed his eyes, and his divine soul faintly sank into memories. When Chen Junlin used that spear technique, he felt a kind of origin energy. A kind of pure energy that came from the origin of all things. It was like the biggest difference between the God race and the human race, especially the 3 shadows formed by his bloodline. There was even the shadow of a divine tree. The origin energy of all things was derived from the divine tree. What exactly is that divine tree? Maybe when I have enough power, I can go to the God realm to find out. Lin Chun faintly felt that the divine tree shadow was alive. Furthermore, it was very similar to the plant of providence. No, rather than calling it the plant of providence, it was more accurate to say that the plant of providence was like it. It was as if the plant of providence's origin originated from it. A wisp of divine soul gathered in the distance. Lin Chen looked in the direction of 9 World Mountain, his heart heavy. If the number of enemies in Celestial Star Zone was 10, then the number of enemies in 9 World Mountain was 100. That was a special star zone where the insect race, Phoenix race, Dragon race, Demon race, Azura race, God race, Human race, and many other gods gathered. 9 World Mountain was equivalent to the boundary between the various regions of the Divine Region. If he wanted to meet up with his allies on the other side in a short time, he had to break through. A team without even a Divine Master wanted to break through 9 World Mountain and attack the top elites of the various races of the Divine Region. How crazy was that? Even if Lin Chen's power had skyrocketed, he did not have absolute confidence. At this moment, Lin Chen sent out a thought. System, is the talent cooldown time applicable to the ancient primordial dragon bloodline talent? Lin Chen's Dragon King could decide the cultivation time. If the system could adapt, then his 3 talents could skip the cooldown time. Answer to the host, yes. The host and the ancient dragon are one. As long as the host is possessed by the ancient dragon and activates the bloodline talent to open the system, it will be counted as the ancient dragon bloodline talent. In an instant, Lin Chen's expression was very interesting. With a thought, a dragon's roar resounded. Every inch of Lin Chen's flesh seemed to have transformed into the ancient dragon's bloodline. There were a few strands of golden light in the green. Suddenly, only the cultivation time in Lin Chen's body became extremely slow. It was as if he was isolated from the 4-dimensional flow of time. At that moment, Lin Chen opened the talent pane again. High orange talent, God Slayer, cooldown successful. The stronger the enemy, the greater the number, the stronger the talent. It will consume talent points to activate. The higher the host's base cultivation, the more talent points will be required. Top orange talent, God Defying, cooldown successful. The stronger the enemy's divinity, the stronger the talent. It will consume talent points to activate. The higher the host's base cultivation, the more talent points will be required. Strongest orange talent, ultimate heaven-defying, cooldown successful. Extreme destruction, extreme instant kill, consume talent points to activate. The higher the host's base cultivation, the more talent points will be required. Even someone as calm as Lin Chun could not help but clench his fists in excitement. It's back. His strongest trump card. Moreover, with the support of the ancient primordial dragon bloodline talent, it was far stronger than before. As long as he had enough talent points, in theory, he could keep activating the ultimate heaven-defying. Anyone below the almighty level could break through his defense and instantly kill him. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.